Say that's Neo and Closer. Can I just say before we pass you over to Greg this morning, Dominic Sharkey from Dunlow, the very best in his junior cert today from Martin and all the staff at the Bridge Inn and Dunlow, and to everybody that's doing their junior cert and leaving cert, best of luck today, guys.
Fingers crossed for everyone.
Yes, and
they've all done the hard work.
Yeah, but it'd be great now to get the first day over.
You
can't.
But it's funny, leaving cert's funny because, and it's understandable, at this time of your life you think it's the most important thing ever, and just as you get older the less important it becomes.
Yeah.
But sure.
Yeah.
Good luck, Lee.
Thanks.
Long time since you set yours.
No, I'm kind of thinking back to my leaving cert. I went back to repeat maths and stuff because I failed it the first time and stuff. But but sure, good luck to everybody.
Exactly. Well, you've got Lee rooting for you and you've got me rooting for you. All right, thanks, Lee. Take care of yourself. See you tomorrow. It's the 9 till noon show now here on Highland Radio. And with a news update at 9 o'clock. Good morning, Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. Well, the number of students sitting the Leaving Cert, Applied Leaving Cert and Junior Cert exams has increased by 6% compared to the last time a full set of exams was run in 2019. More than 131,000 students starting their exams across the country this morning. Leaving Cert candidates with COVID-19 or symptoms of COVID-19 will have access to a deferred sitting of the exam later this year. The Taoiseach will address the European Parliament this morning. The address marks 50 years since Ireland decided to join the then EEC. It comes after an appeal to Boris Johnson to pull back from acting unilaterally over the Northern Ireland Protocol. Micheál Martin says everyone should go back to the table. Well, the British government's been accused of diplomatic vandalism by a Fianna Fáil MEP. Boris Johnson's cabinet is now set to propose new legislation that would allow future ministers override the Northern Ireland Protocol. Barry Andrews doesn't expect that the legislation will get the green light.
These are the positions that have been taken. I think the UK may have played their hand very poorly here because it's clear that Tory MPs that voted against Boris Johnson are talking now about a vote strike, and the first area in which they're going to be uncooperative with the whips is on this bill. So it doesn't look likely that it's going to get through.
The government plans to give people free vouchers to use remote working hubs, a number of which have been developed in Donegal. Last month, Donegal County Council announced a scheme to provide free hub access to people holidaying in the county that need to connect with their work for a time. Minister Heather Humphreys will today unveil a plan as part of increased measures to allow people work in their communities rather than commute to offices in bigger towns and cities. There will also be further investment in remote working hubs across the country to support hybrid working. Independent TD and former Communications Minister Dennis Naughton believes this is very important progress.
I think anything that can see the maximum use of these new connected hubs around the country, I think is very positive. And I think there's an opportunity there for employers, particularly employers based in maybe urban centres where there's pressure on office accommodation, to look and see and facilitate staff moving to some of these remote working hubs.
More than 4,000 volunteers across Ireland are taking part in World Ocean Day today. Marine litter is the theme. It's become a global problem. The charities Clean Coast and National Spring Clean have joined forces to organise more than 230 beach cleanups across the country, 12 of those happening in Donegal. More details on our website, highlandradio.com. Coastal Communities Manager Sinead McCoy is urging people to be mindful, particularly when it comes to their consumption of plastic.
It is a very good and happy story that we have so much community spirit, but it's also very sad that we have to have so many community groups out and that they have work to do on the coastline. It is an issue, the amount of plastic that we are consuming. It's really evident when we're out cleaning beaches. We're really asking people to be conscious of what plastic they're consuming and single-use plastic.
Breezy today with showers or longer spells of rain, a possibility of some isolated thunderstorms as well. Afternoon temperatures 15 to 17 degrees Celsius with moderate to fresh and gusty westerly winds. That'll be strong at times along coasts. Tonight mostly dry and clear for a time, some isolated showers. Overnight temperatures 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, again moderate west or southwest breezes. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news again at 10 o'clock.
And now, a modern masterpiece. The new Italian stack from McDonald's. 2 100% Irish beef burgers with mozzarella, crispy onions, lettuce, a rich tomato sauce, and a cheese sauce, all in a tomato and herb-style bun. And next in the collection, the crispy chicken Italiano with tomato, mozzarella, red onion, lettuce, and a basil pesto-style sauce. Bellissimo.
Holiday from home with the McDonald's summer menu. Available until the 26th of July. From 11 a.m, subject to availability.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning. You're very welcome along to another edition of the 9 till noon show as it just turns 9:05 on this Wednesday, the 8th of June. How are you? I hope you're all very well indeed and enjoyed the weekend. It's a long time ago, but I was off yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to say it. Weather was lovely, wasn't it? But not so this week. But anyway, be that as it may, we are here to entertain you for the next 3 hours. Get involved with the conversation. WhatsApp 086 60 25,000. You text that number too, or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. I mentioned this last week. There were more problems over the weekend about the bus service from Dublin to Donegal. More cancellations since we last spoke about it, and it seems to be a pretty short notice and putting people up and down. Of course, leaving them stuck in Dublin or unable to travel between Donegal and Letterkenny or Ballybofey and Letterkenny, for example, and on it goes. We've no alternatives, and it's getting more difficult to run a car, as we'll read and hear about a little later on in the programme. 086 60 25,000, as I say, that's the WhatsApp or text number. If you want to give us a call, Donna Marie and Caroline taking your calls this morning on 07491 25,000. Emails, get them into us. Comments at highlandradio.com. If you prefer to watch the programme, as more and more if you do every day, then you can hop on to our website, highlandradio.com, watch in browser there, or head on over straight to our social media. Either way, we just want you to be part of the programme, whichever way you choose to do so. Let's start with a look at the papers today, as we do every day. Finn Valley Voice, Finn Valley Gambling Counselling Service from July. A new support service to assist people dealing with harmful gambling will begin at the Finn Valley Family Resource Centre, Stranola, from July. The just launched National Problem Gambling Support Service is a collaboration between Gambling Awareness Trust and the Family Resource Centre National Forum, which will see 20 family resource centres across the country provide professional and confidential counselling services to those experiencing harmful gambling and their families. And more people do than we might imagine. You know, anytime we talk about gambling on this programme, people always text in, thanks for speaking about this. People don't realise how widespread problem gambling is, and the lack of supports for the gambler, but also those living with them. And every time, as I say, and we discuss it regularly, that issue comes up in the programme. People go, we need to talk more about this. The lines are always open for you, by the way, to raise any issues, be it something like that or anything else. Let's look at the Inish Times now. And leading Micah Redress campaigner Paddy Diver, he's returned to the 100% Redress No Less campaign. The popular Karen Dunham man stepped away from the campaign in March, citing a number of reasons for his departure, including clashes with the Donegal County Councillor. However, Mr Diver announced his decision to return to help reinvigorate the campaign over concerns about the lack of pre-legislative scrutiny for the proposed enhanced effective concrete block scheme, supposedly coming before Cabinet on June 28. We are not going to fall for government tricks, warned the talismanic redress campaigner. And it seems the only show in town now for campaigners is pre-legislative scrutiny. And you can understand why there's a lack of trust there, by the way, because let's not forget the 90-10 scheme as it was unfolded and promised, and we had so many conversations on this programme, and I had my reservations about it right from the very get-go, because I was always of the opinion, where is someone going to get 10%? How would that include everyone? Anyway, it was much worse than that, because it was much the margins were nowhere near 90-10, 60-40. So you don't want that to happen again. And how do you make sure that doesn't happen? And how do you make sure every I is dotted and T's crossed? Pre-legislative scrutiny. And, we've been waiting for this for years now. If it means waiting another couple of months to get it right, I think most people would be in favour of that, particularly given the fact that nothing really is doing with the scheme at the moment. So, what are you delaying? Because, effectively the current scheme is on hold. It's stuck, seemingly. And so what's the delay? So in other words, what's the harm in a little further delay to make sure it's gotten right this time? The Donegal Post, one of the region's most famous indoor family holiday attractions, will finally create that much needed splash visit for visitors and locals on Friday, June 24th at noon, after a hiatus that stretches back to 2019. I'm talking about Waterworld in Bundoran. It's been forced to close over the past 2 years because of the COVID-19 lockdowns and winter storm damage. It'll bring a much needed, wanted smile back to many children, as it will to their parents, guardians and families. Okay, on to the Nationals now. Maybe you are one of those with Ulster Bank or one of the other banks exiting the market, and you're trying to switch, but you're finding great delays. Maybe many of you chose to stay with the likes of the Ulster Bank and just transition over to the next lender. But anyway, more than 500,000 people who are being forced to look for a new bank, these are current and savings accounts I presume, have been given conflicting information about how to switch accounts. The central bank and the bank's lobby group, the Banking and Payments Federation Ireland, are at odds about how the process for switching current accounts works. Now, this is in the realm of, I bet you can't believe this, it is actually true. This has been in the offing for quite some time, and we have the central bank and the Banking and Payments Federation of Ireland disagreeing as to how you switch a current account or your banking accounts. Remarkable stuff, isn't it? This has prompted accusations that the banks are deliberately undermining the current account switching code in a bid to restrict competition in the market. It comes as more than 500,000 customers of departing Ulster Bank and KBC Bank Ireland are being forced to close their current accounts amid a scramble to find new providers. The representative body for banks has been accused by Donegal TD Pierce Doherty of failing to understand just how the switching code works and deliberately trying to ensure it does not work. And there's many of you going to be caught up in that. On to the Irish Times now, and worrying news that young adults are drinking less, but their cocaine use is increasing significantly, especially among young women, a report from the Health Research Board warns. Now, I've said on this programme before, one of my concerns with the increasing, if you increase the price of alcohol, is that it's going to push children, younger people, it's going to push them towards drugs because they're easily got. No one's looking for your ID, and no one's really, as I say, checking what you're at. Are they really? They're handy got, if you know what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So this is, and I say that not as an argument to do away with minimum unit price alcohol, but you have to do these things at the same time. So you have to say, right, if we do this, we're probably going to, and this is only my opinion, it's not the article's opinion, I'll get to the article in a second, but if we're going to make it more expensive to get booze, especially with the cost of everything that's going up, what are younger people going to do? Potentially experiment with drugs, which are readily available and people are there to spy them. So you need to sort of treat both things at the same time. Now, it's interesting. An interesting study has come out of Scotland as it relates to minimum price pricing of alcohol. And again, I'm not opposed to it. It doesn't really, I probably don't drink enough that it matters to me, to be honest with you, but it hasn't really made a big impact in those with drink problems drinking. That's the study, and the Scottish Government has said they're going to look at this new study to see where to go to next. So, there's no point making it a minimum unit pricing if it's not stopping people who are using it dangerously. But as I say, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just throwing everything out there, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more in the future. But anyway, illegal drug use, including cannabis use, is also on the rise among young women, despite falling among their male peers, while drunkenness is greater among schoolgirls than schoolboys. Drawing on Ireland and European data sets, the report on alcohol and other drug use finds the number of young people presenting for problem cocaine use increased by 171% between 2011 and 2019, from 254 cases to 688. Published today, it says the age at which young people had their first drink increased from 15.6 years in 2002 to 16.6 years in 2019. However, almost two-thirds, 64% of 15 to 24-year-olds were hazardous drinking, and more than a third, 38%, had an alcohol use disorder. Okay, so as I say, there's a multitude of problems there that all need addressing as much as possible at the same time. Right, the Irish Daily Mail tells us, do you remember the shock and awe at the price of petrol going up and diesel going up? And then the government saying, we have to do something and intervening in a way that's been gobbled up completely now, as we all predicted, didn't we? And now we're looking at petrol at $2.20 per litre. And I don't know if there's a level of acceptance or if we're battle worn or what the story is. But I mean, if you were told last year that you'd be paying $2.20 per litre of petrol, you would have said not a chance. Well, here we are. Families are being urged to cut down on driving as petrol prices have soared to a record high of more than $2.20 per litre. Green Party TDs and consumer experts say that reducing car journeys might be the only way to combat increasing costs. Now, the thing that annoys me about this is that we often don't make journeys for the fun of it. You know, a lot of it is when we have to get young ones to school or training or get ourselves to and from work or whatever it might be, or go and care for someone. You know, I don't know how much of us are just driving around willy-nilly for the crack and we can cut out on those journeys. But it's a rural-urban thing because they're probably not really speaking to urban drivers because, you know, they've got many options. Cycling is probably achievable, public transport, the Lewis, wherever they are, trains, you know, there's much more options for those people. For us, not so much. Well, the Society of the Irish Motor Industry yesterday urged people to take sports equipment and unnecessarily heavy items out of cars to lighten the load. The CIMI also advised people not to take unnecessary trips and to make sure car tyres are pumped to stay at maximum fuel efficiency. Petrol prices are now more than 30% higher than a year ago, while diesel is more than 40% higher despite an excise duty reduction in March this year of 20 cent per litre for petrol and 15 cent per litre for diesel. One station in Sligo was charging $2.27 per litre for petrol yesterday. And there's great variance in terms of the prices. Now, we understand that it can depend on when certain places get deliveries in and what have you, but I presume fundamentally it's the same fuel from the same suppliers, and we're seeing differences of 20, 25, 30 cent per litre. The Irish Daily Star tells us that Apple will have to change the connector on iPhones sold in Europe by 2024. Kind of feel this is a stupid conversation at this point now, because I think more and more people are moving to wireless charging, and this was a debate that was had 10 years ago and was probably best left 10 years ago. I really don't think the EU... Well, maybe I'm wrong, okay, and I'm often wrong, but the EU maybe should be worrying about other things than phone charger cables. They're widely available now. You can get them absolutely anywhere. And as I say, a lot of people are going down the wireless charging route now. But anyway, here we are. I've read stories like this, as I say, from 10 years ago when it really mattered. At that point, you had the big USB, you had USB-B, you had USB-C, then you had the iPhone charger and others as well. Now there's pretty much two, isn't there? There's USB-C and the iPhone charger. It's not really that big an issue, is it? Anyway, the political intervention... it comes as after EU countries and lawmakers agreed yesterday to a single mobile charging port for mobile phones, tablets and cameras in a world's first. The political intervention, which the European Commission said would make life easier for consumers and save them money, came after companies failed to reach a common solution. Look at, when you get your phone now, it's like they're trolling us. You get a cable that's 3 meters long. I mean, what's the first thing people do anyway is they go and buy a new cable, isn't it? A longer one. And you can easily go beside each other in a shop, a USB-C or an iPhone charger. Unless I'm missing something. If I'm missing something here, please let me know why this is so important. Brussels has been pushing for single mobile phone charging points for more than a decade, prompted by complaints from iPhone and Android users about having to switch to different chargers for the devices. Again, as I say, if anyone out there can tell me what the problem is now at this point in our lives that requires political intervention on that issue, I'm all ears. Micheál Martin has urged wounded Boris Johnson to steady the ship and pull back from acting unilaterally on the Northern Ireland Protocol. This is in The Sun. The British government is set to introduce a bill that will allow future ministers to override the Brexit deal. It would let them emphasise the UK's internal market over the EU single market. The move comes as under pressure, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson saw off a Tory rebellion by the skin of his teeth on Monday, leaving him just 32 votes from oblivion. And this is this is what the Irish Sun is saying, but the English Sun or the British Sun is coming out in absolute full support of Boris Johnson, to the point that they're actually rewriting the facts in their support of Boris Johnson. And yet in a paper that claims to be the Irish Sun, it's like he got through by the skin of his teeth, all from the same paper, effectively just produced in two different countries. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how those 140 odd MPs that voted against Boris Johnson will vote on those issues, because they're going to try and make his life difficult. Finally, if you were hoping to go and see Katie Taylor fight in Croke Park this year, I'm sorry to dash those hopes, because the rematch with Amanda Serrano in front of 80,000 fans at Croke Park will not go ahead this year. I'm not surprised by this. I don't fully know the reasons why. Firstly, Serrano is already a world champion. Secondly, she's not Katie Taylor's weight. She came up in weight to fight Katie Taylor. So, she had a go with it. She made history. What's the point in doing it all over again from her? She can fight at her own weight and probably enjoy a much more successful career, rather than coming over here and sort of being fodder for Katie Taylor to show off in front of 80,000 fans. I'd love to have seen it personally, but I can see why she hasn't. The Champs promoter, Eddie Hearn, said the Puerto Rican, who the brave fighter beat in April, does not fancy the clash this autumn. He added, they don't want that fight, unfortunately. They don't really want to go to Ireland. And say they just don't want to take on Katie Taylor at that weight. All right, that's a run through what's making the news. We'll make our own headlines very shortly here on Highland Radio. Get involved with the conversation. Have your say. Text us. 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000, or give us a call on 07491 at 25,000.
Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure has everything you need for getting fit in 2022. From training gear to resistance bands, skipping ropes, weights and foam rollers, we have all the essentials to see you through every step of your fitness journey from training to recovery. Shop our range of gym wear, equipment and accessories at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Look, you've heard by now that there's something major happening in the banking industry, which will mean thousands of businesses up and down the country will have to move banks. This means that as well as change in banks, suppliers and customers will need to be notified. It's certainly not something you want to leave until the last minute. So, for a step-by-step guide on moving your business banking, search Bank of Ireland Big Move. Begin.
Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
All ready for next year? Why not make sure of it with SEAT? Trade up to a 221 SEAT SUV and you'll be offered PCP finance from 1.9% and a 3-year service plan for just $9.99 a month. With the bold new Arona, the stylish new Ateca, or the outstanding 7-seater Tarraco, we're all ready. Are you? Trade up to your 221 SEAT SUV at DMG Motors, Clare Road, Donegal Town. Finance provided by way of hire purchase agreement from Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland, trading as SEAT Financial Services. Subject to lending criteria. Terms and conditions apply. Visit seat.ie/221 for further information.
Cannon Furniture in Milford now stock and supply a full range of mobility aids. Everything from mobility scooters and electric wheelchairs to walking mobility aids and lift and rise chairs, with delivery across the Northwest and a full backup service. Visit the open days this Friday the 10th and Saturday the 11th and see the great choice available. That's all at Cannon Furniture Milford, just 500 metres from Lidl on the Kerry-Keel Road. See Facebook or call 91 535 79.
Foy & Company are offering amazing discounts on a great selection of display sofas with up to 50% off a range of 2-seater, 3-seater and corner sofas in a choice of colours and styles. If you're getting a new suite of furniture, don't miss the big display sofa clearance sale on now while stocks last at Foy & Company in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet and online at foys.ie.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the programme. I'm joined on it now by Dave Coleman, partner at Coleman Legal. Good morning to you, Dave. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, okay. Now, Defective Blocks Ireland Group are leading a High Court action on behalf of Donegal homeowners with property damaged by the deleterious products such as mica. And we're speaking to you because there's a launch of a public information campaign across the county, and we'll get to that. So, excuse me. What is the relationship with this action and sort of the campaign for 100% redress, if there's any, Dave? Like, why do we need this type of action when there's already quite a lot of people involved in pressuring the government to return these houses to their former state?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that they're not entirely separate, but they're not entirely joined together. And by that I mean that from the homeowners and property owners in Donegal's point of view, that what has happened is that their rights have been infringed. And whereas the various groups who are campaigning for a grant and now an increased grant, I think that's welcome, it's laudable, it's the right thing to do. But whichever way you look at it, there's going to be an actual shortfall between what people lost and the grants that people will receive. And this action is essentially to vindicate the rights of the homeowners in Donegal who will suffer as a result of this shortfall.
Who is this action against?
It's against 3 defendants. There's the quarry in question, Donegal County Council, and the National Standards Authority of Ireland, the NSAI.
And it's not a class action. We don't do class actions here, but you've got like 200 odd property owners signed up. How does that work from a legal perspective?
We don't, you're right. We don't have a strict class action law in Ireland. However, there are rules established to allow for multi-party actions to be taken with pathfinder cases or lead cases taken on behalf of those people who may have suffered a different loss, but essentially have the same cause of action. And in this case, it's the blocks and the aggregate that is within their homes.
Does your representation, obviously at the moment, some might feel if they're outside the current scheme or what the scheme that's being worked on, I'm thinking of people, with agricultural buildings, holiday homes, second homes that don't qualify. Are those the type of people that are signing up, or is it those maybe with houses that are far above the cap that's been placed on this scheme? Or is there an average clientele of yours?
It's all of the above. How we intend to work it is that we're taking lead cases on behalf of the different category of property owner, such as a holiday home, a homeowner, such as somebody who has multiple lets, commercial property, as you say, agricultural property. So what we're doing, in effect, is we're widening the net to include all people whose rights have been infringed, not just one particular type. And that extends, of course, into Northern Ireland also.
And if you were successful, and sorry to jump the gun and we'll go back a little bit, but there's just a couple of obvious questions I want to get out of my head while we can. Who pays? Do you know? I mean, at the moment, there is a scheme that's being worked on. I'm not trying to conflate them, by the way. It's just the way I can formulate the question in my head, whereby obviously it's the state with its resources that will come up with this money. If you and your clients are successful, are those that you are claiming against, are they resourced well enough to fix the problems and at the scale they are, if things were to fall into your favour?
That depends on the actual defendant themselves. We can't speak to the quarry in question as to what resources or insurance they have, but I think it's safe to assume that should we be successful, the value of the cases will far exceed the assets of the quarry in question. The second defendant is Donegal County Council. We understand that they have carry insurance for this, and we don't know the extent of that insurance, but we do believe that ultimately, should Donegal County Council be proven liable, or indeed the third defendant, the NSAI, that the state will in effect have to pick up the tab for these.
Yeah, and of course, I presume all those parties will say that they don't feel they are liable in the way that you might feel they are. So how is this how is this progressing? So you're talking about some lead cases. I mean, when are they going to be before the courts, for example?
We've already issued and served in the case of the first lead plaintiff, William and Grania Doherty. I think they have certainly stepped up here on behalf of the homeowners and provided a lead. We are in the process of drafting the proceedings for the further lead cases, and over the next couple of months, they will in fact issue their writs. But alongside that, and parallel to it, the non-lead plaintiffs, the ordinary homeowners who don't wish to be lead plaintiffs, we've commenced issuing writs on their behalf, and will do so on a weekly basis from here on. And Greg, it's important that for those people who have a problem with their house, who don't wish to be lead plaintiffs, that they understand that time is running against them. That it has been in the public domain in Donegal since about 2017, that it's well known that there are problems. And although people may not have their homes tested, the absence of a test may not protect them from a claim that they delayed too long in bringing their case. Now, of course, such a claim will be fought, but surely a battle is best avoided than fought, and it can be done so at this point now while there is time.
Do these cases, if successful, set precedent for everyone? So say, for instance, you had one case. Sorry to use sort of like American TV language. It might be completely inappropriate, but, I'm trying my best here. But say, for instance, one of these lead cases is successful. Does that mean every case then has to be fought separately? And I'm thinking then too, for instance, say if someone did access the scheme and there were a shortfall, would that qualify them for anything or open a pathway for them to try and make up that shortfall, if that makes sense?
Yeah, there are two parts to the question. The first part is that the reason a lead plaintiff is chosen is to narrow the issues. So it will be agreed with the defendants, what are the problems? And if this case is tried and heard, are we all going to be bound by the result? Because the courts otherwise would have to deal with hundreds or thousands of cases over the same reasoning. And it's in everyone's interests that, in fact, we do voluntarily narrow the issues. And normally that's done by agreeing a series of questions that, when answered, will I suppose, guide and bind the plaintiffs in the non-lead cases. So that's how that works. And the second part of the question is the cost of the case in respect of what are people suing for if they have a grant. And the only thing we'll be claiming, and we encourage people to partake in any grant situation that's finally agreed, that the only thing we'll be looking for on their behalf is their difference between the shoes they stood in before a deleterious block was laid on their house, or they bought one with one, and what grant is available. And I think that it's common knowledge that whatever the grant situation is, it's not going to fully compensate people for what they've lost as a result of this.
Has this ever been done before in Ireland successfully, in the Republic of Ireland?
This type
of action, whereby then the court found and compensated an individual, and that created a pathway for others. Like, can you give me an example?
Yeah, I can. There was a case, it's called the Solid World Bond case, where 160 people who invested in a bond that went south, and it was probably inappropriately sold. And as a result of that, we opened our case, and the defendant settled with all. Similarly, the Michael Shine case, it was an abuse case in the northeast of Ireland, and once again, a group action was taken and commonly settled. So yes, there are precedents for it being done. It's quite a regular occurrence, although maybe not too regular, but there are precedents.
All right. People don't have to pay legal fees to join the case, and they don't have to pay experts' fees. So I'm not trying to probe into your business. What's in it? What's in it for your company? Why are you involved in this?
Well, first of all, I was approached to get involved in the case because of our firm's expertise in multi-party actions. Second of all, I understand that people will be concerned about legal fees and what they're getting into. And the only fee that we will be charging is upon success, where there's a difference between the grant, which there are no fees applicable, and the ultimate award or settlement award given to any homeowner. And there will be a small fee based on that, and of course the work that's put into it.
How long do you anticipate this process to take? Let's just take the first high-profile lead case, for example. I mean, how long do you think realistically it might be before we find out from a judge what the outcome of a case is?
I would say normally these cases take between 24 and 36 months, 2 to 3 years. Now, there will be case management here, Greg, so that people will be tied into deadlines, and the court won't suffer excuses from either side, including ourselves.
Can someone be engaged in the redress scheme and this process at the same time?
Oh, we'd encourage it. Absolutely. Because we're only looking for the difference. And, everybody wants to get on with it. They don't want to be held up. They hope they're going to get the best result possible. And we laud anybody who's trying to do that on their behalf. We think it's the right course of action. However, it's people's rights we're trying to vindicate here, or seeking to vindicate.
If I bought a property today and it turned out to have mica, I didn't get it tested in advance, do I have a case? Well, not mica, but any of the deleterious materials.
It depends on the day you bought it. If you bought it today, I think, Greg, that you might want to test your property before you buy it. There's a certain amount of common sense in all this. And unfortunately, we have people back in 2016, 2017 who did get surveyors' reports, and they didn't recommend testing, and that is problematical.
Yeah. But in terms of, like, if I don't qualify for the scheme for other reasons, like the examples I have given, could I still say, like I gave the example there, for instance, of an agricultural building?
Yes.
Are you representing those people as well, or do they have to?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, as part of the lead plaintiffs, there are different segments. So there are rental homes, there are holiday homes, commercial properties, agricultural properties, social, not social housing, but social places, such as community halls. All of these fall within a different category, and we will be taking a case on behalf of each category.
Okay, well, there's an event on in the Inishowen Gateway Hotel in Buncrana on June 15th and 16th, and if this is something that you would be interested in getting involved in, is it a turn up on the day or by appointment, or what's the situation, Dave?
I suppose there are a lot of people contacting us to come, and we've allocated 200 appointments. Now, if people have a difficulty in making an appointment through access to internet or for whatever reason, please come along. We do have people there. We will talk to you, and we will hopefully give you some comfort in relation to the process.
Yeah, but you can't promise the moon and the stars either, nor would you. What are you telling people? What are you saying about the likelihood of this? How are you managing expectations? What's the language you're using?
Yeah, okay. I first became involved in this case last August. And it is only in the last month that we have now issued our proceedings. And in the meantime, what we've done is we have researched our topic. We've been very, very careful as to what information we have sought and relied upon. And it has taken us that many months to issue and serve a writ. We are finalising what's known as a statement of claim now, which sets out the claim in great detail. And if we did not believe that on the balance of probabilities that we will win our case, we wouldn't have brought it. Not a chance. So we're not going with uber confidence, Greg, not at all. I mean, the state will rise to meet this challenge, I've no doubt. However, the facts are the facts. And although it's not appropriate to fight a case on air, it is appropriate to tell people that we believe on the balance of probabilities, which is the test in court, that we will win. And that's why we're here.
And obviously this is finally, Dave, this is an incredibly expensive process. Who picks up the bill in the event of a lead case failing, for example, and, obviously presumably having to pick up costs for both themselves and whomever they're taking the case against? I mean, I presume that could be a real could be a sizable amount of money we're talking about here. Who would pick up those costs?
The lead plaintiffs, whom have been brave enough and good enough to stand up on behalf of their community, should there be a downside, this case has been funded on a not-for-profit basis, and their downside costs, should they arise, which of course we'll be fighting, but should they arise, and people have to understand that they may arise, that they will be met by the not-for-profit group.
Okay, and very finally, just to explain, I probably should have asked this from the beginning, why at this point sort of continue to sign people up, and they might have, yourself, the emotions involved in owning one of these properties. Why not wait to see the outcome of a lead case and then say, right, this is what we've achieved, we can do the same for you? We could have hundreds of people here, that it could be successful for them, but they could find themselves disappointed as well. So the question, just to shorten it, why not just move forward with these lead cases and then say, right, look what we've done, come to the Inishowen Gateway Hotel and sign up? But why are you continuing to sign people up now?
Because of time. We're afraid that a defendant may raise the issue of time and try and bar people from proceeding with their cases. And the only way to avoid that fight, and it's a fight that we can't guarantee we win or lose, is to issue writs now on behalf of each individual. Mm-hmm. There's no cost to entry for this. It protects people and allows them the security of being able to rely on a result should it be successful, rather than wondering, can we get in even though we did nothing for all those years? So it's actually a de-stressor to join. Okay. Because as time goes on, Greg, that window will close.
Right, well, thanks for that, Dave. I appreciate your time this morning. All right, take care of yourself. That's Dave Coleman, partner at Coleman Legal. I presume the one thing I've learned is that the people involved and caught up in this scandal are incredibly well informed, and they'll perhaps have made up their mind one way or other, or they might be sitting on the fence. I don't know. But anyway, we bring you the information as responsible as in as responsible a way as possible, and allow people, as we've tried to do all the while since we've been doing this programme, allow people to make up their own mind with the information to hand. Okay. Any views? 086 60 25,000. You can WhatsApp or text that number. Of course, call us on 07491 25,000. We're going to be talking about fuel prices, where they're at, where they may go after this break. Stay right where you are.
The moment you got told the good news.
Rob, you made the panel.
When the lads added you into the group. Skipping nights out, missing the crack. Rewatching classics and learning new tricks. Being driven to the biggest game of your life by your mam. And then you finally come on in the 51st minute. It's the minor moments that last a lifetime. The Electric Ireland GAA Minor Championships. This is major.
Happy Father's Day.
This Father's Day, choose Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, Cool Water, Diesel, 1 million, Jean-Paul Gaultier. Choose McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny. Great gifts for great dads. Click mcgees.ie.
Poke it out, Zoe! Should you really be doing this in the garden? It'll be grand.
I knew it.
I know, right? The power on her. When I tell her coach, he'll definitely start her on Sunday. In the garden, it'll be grand.
I knew it.
I'll call Allianz.
With Allianz Home Insurance, broken glass is covered as standard. Save 10% when you buy online at allianz.ie. You write it, we underwrite it. Allianz. Allianz plc is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Standard acceptance criteria, policy conditions and minimum premiums apply.
It's the Inishowen Vintage Show, Friday 10th of June at Carrickfield, Moville. There's Matthew Cramsey followed by Barry Kerwin's Matrimony Band. Doors open at 8 p.m. with a late bar. This ad is sponsored by Hannon Green. For all your insurance needs, we have you covered.
Raymond Sweeney here from Ben Sweeney Euronics to let you know about the Blomberg Integrated Dishwasher, which can save you time and money. When you're pressed for time, you can choose a quick 30-minute or 58-minute wash cycle or an intelligent auto program for perfect wash results every time. The German-engineered inverter motor means it operates at low noise level, so it's whisper quiet. And there's a 7-year parts and labour warranty for peace of mind. Call in and see for yourself at Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road, Letterkenny, or in the shopping centre Dunlow.
Okay, I'm very pleased to welcome onto the programme again Kevin McPartland, who is CEO of Fuels for Ireland. Good morning to you, Kevin.
Morning, Greg.
Can you just start off by telling us what Fuels for Ireland is and who they represent?
So Fuels for Ireland is the industry body for the companies that are involved in the importation, refining, distribution and marketing of liquid fuels. So petrol, diesel for transport, also biofuels that are put into those, and kerosene for home heating. We also do maritime and aviation fuels. Right,
okay. So you have a good line on what is happening here. I mean, we're seeing fuel prices go up everywhere. Britain has seen record prices, mainland Europe, in America too, I think, and they're more reliant, not more reliant, but they've got gas guzzlers over there and they're really feeling the pinch with petrol prices going up and up and up. So we're heading over €2 per litre of petrol, and it's up around 217, 220, 224, 25 in some places. Is there a ceiling here, do you think, Kevin?
I think anybody who tried to predict oil prices at the best of times is kind of a fool, because if any of us had that capacity, we wouldn't need to be talking to one another this morning, Greg. We'd be very wealthy fellas. But look, the situation is oil prices are always very, very heavily influenced by sort of global geopolitics, and the situation in Ukraine is the horrendous tragedy there has certainly had an impact. We've seen that over the last 3 months, and it's continuing. And then you had the announcement of formal sanctions from the EU a couple of weeks ago. Now, we here in Ireland had a very low level of dependence on Russian oil prior to the invasion. We've taken ourselves out of that supply chain insofar as we possibly can at this point. Other countries didn't move as quickly, so they are now scrambling to get access to fuel from other countries that we have been doing already. So that means that we're competing with them. That's put an extra burden onto oil prices. And then a couple of other things that have happened that are less obvious. One is that wholesale diesel price in particular, and diesel is what most of us are using for transport, wholesale diesel prices have been calculated based on a global average over many, many years. But that average was skewed because of the people who were prepared to buy Russian oil were getting it at a discount. That was changed this week. So there's now 2 indexes, one for Russian oil and one for everything else. And that has put a price hike up. The other thing is a bit of a strange one. It's one of those economic anomalies. But every year at the time of the American Memorial Day holiday, fuel prices, or gasoline prices in particular, on a global level spike. And that's because Americans drive massive distances during that period. So I think it was the American Automobile Association that said last week 40 million Americans drove more than 80 kilometers. So that every year has a spike in that week. So that has also combined.
Presumably too, China relaxing some of their restrictions as well. That's going to see the mass movement of more people at the same time as the other factors you've talked about. That has to play into this presumably as well.
That's right. And then you have kind of the interesting situation where the OPEC countries could increase their production to kind of soften the blow of this. But I think the OPEC countries are seen as being quite happy to see America and Europe struggling a little bit.
And who are the OPEC countries?
So they tend to be the Middle East, the Arabic countries that are strong producers of crude oil.
Yeah. Okay. So what will be, as far as you can speculate, we haven't really either, I presume, felt the consequences of Europe's plans to greatly reduce the importation of, particularly by sea, of Russian oil, and that's starting to take effect, and that really comes into effect by the end of this year. Is that going to have a knock-on effect on petrol pump prices, diesel pump prices?
I mean, that is a large part of what has led to the increase in the last few weeks, the last couple of weeks since that announcement. And it was also, the direction of travel was very clear even before the announcement. So that meant that companies were trying to look for alternative sources, those companies in Central Europe and Eastern Europe that were heavily reliant on Russia. So they're now competing with the people that we've been buying from already to try and get access to those. So that impact is already being felt. I wouldn't think that would dramatically increase, but it will continue. And that's the problem. The other thing we have to say, Greg, as well, is that, you know, if your listeners in Donegal are going in and are paying €2.10 today for a litre of diesel, then despite the fact that there was an excise duty cut back in March, the government is collecting 10 cents more on that litre of diesel than they were in June of 2021. They'll be collecting about 90 cents in tax on that €2.10 that people around Donegal are paying today, and we think that needs to change.
I would have thought. I would have thought in a crisis like this, at the very least, they would kind of cap the take. In other words, so the exchequer wouldn't be down, because that wouldn't be realistic. But if they cap the take, that would would that possibly, does it suit the government though that maybe we are changing how we use our vehicles and cutting out unnecessarily journeys and not carrying around a bag of coal in the boot for no reason like it's Fort Knox? Would they be concerned that if they keep the price under €2 a litre, that we'll just drive out? Is there an issue with supply, for example?
If they genuinely believe that, then perhaps that might be the motivation. But let's look at the facts. For decades, not just in this country, it's not a party political point. For decades, fossil fuel prices have been increased by various different taxes, levies, excise, all those sorts of things. And we're being told that is to disincentivize people from using fossil fuels and to encourage them to use alternatives. And yet, has never, ever, ever been shown to decrease demand. In fact, at the time now of record high prices, we have tremendously high demand for products. And the truth of it is, as you said, I think in your intro to the program, people don't buy fuel for the crack. It's not a discretionary spend. When I fill my car, it's so that I can get to work, that I can go to meetings, it's that I can go and visit my mother down in Cork. That's what people are using their cars for. For businesses, it's to get their products to market. That's what people are using fuel for. And government have been labouring under this, I believe, willful blindness that high prices in some way drive a decrease in demand. What it actually does is drive tax returns. It's a stealth tax. It's nothing more.
But it's not stealth, because I think it's one of those taxes we're all aware of. But I understand your use of the phrase. That being said, we can have a go at the government. It's easy done. Everyone does it quite regularly now. But we are also seeing, and it's hard to understand, the oil companies making record profits. Okay, so
we need to describe what we mean by oil companies, because if you're thinking about the Shells, the BPs, the global majors, yes, they are. But that doesn't mean that the local
No, I get that. No, I get that. Yeah, I get that. But I mean, let's go with the big guys. I struggle to understand. Maybe you have the inside track. Like how can they be recording record profits at a time when we're paying record prices?
Well, I mean, I don't represent those companies.
Understood.
Frankly, I wouldn't like to right now because I think that is a very difficult position to be put out to defend. I wouldn't try and defend it. I think that they need to take a share of the responsibility here. They need to, and the traders in particular, the global oil traders who are making money on this. But what I can say from my own members' perspective is that fuel retailers tend not to put a percentage markup on their fuel. What they normally do is they have their cent value increase on wholesale prices, their profit margin. And it's very, very low. I think I may have said it to you before, Greg, on a previous time that we chatted, that if you go in and spend €70 in diesel and I follow behind you and I spend $2.50 on a cappuccino, they'll make more on the cappuccino than they did on the diesel. That's the economics of our business.
And Kevin, on the back of that last conversation, and I've taken on board what you said, by the way, in terms of when a delivery comes in and when it's purchased and how the price can fluctuate. And I get that, and I have a better understanding of that now. But I have sort of kept an eye on 2 or 3 stations, over a longer period of time. I don't know how big the tanks are or how often they're filled, but there are cases whereby you might have a 12 cent and up to 22 cent per litre difference consistently between 3 stations, say for instance South Donegal, Mid Donegal, heading towards the north of the county. Now when people see that on a consistent basis, they think, well, these stations are they're taking an extra 20 cent per litre out of our pocket at a very difficult time. We're not saying that doesn't happen, are we?
Well, I'll answer that specific question in a moment, but just to roll back one little bit, about half of the time that I do media interviews, I'm accused of the industry being involved in price fixing because everybody's price is the same. And then the other half, I have people who tell me, how can they be so wildly different?
100%, and I get that because, and to be honest with you, I think the price fixing questions are maybe somewhat historic, whereby people might remember a few years ago that if you went into a town with 4 or 5 stations, there'd be a 1 or 2 cent variance. I get that, and I understand that maybe that question at this point is a little bit redundant. So on to the second one.
But I get it. But I think a 20 cent difference in a similar location would be very, very
within
remarkable.
Within a county, say for example, unusual. not in a town, but within a county.
Okay, so there's a couple of elements there. So one is that you will have different operating costs for individual forecourts. So, and I recognise you're talking about Donegal, but if you're talking about the middle of Dublin city central, Galway city central, wherever, against a rural location. The other one would be the motorway service stations. They have much higher operating costs, so they tend to be more expensive. I can't answer a specific question about that. 20 cent in a difference on a litre seems huge to me. In fact, I don't think I could ever recall having heard of that big a difference before. I'm not disputing it, but I'd have to look into why that could be the case in a particular example.
Yeah, okay. But you're content that your members, it's for some it's not a loss leader as such, but it's part of their overall offering. Presumably, a lot of them hope that you fill up, and whilst you're paying, you grab something from the deli.
For an awful lot of those people, it is a footfall driver to get people into the shop to buy a breakfast roll, buy a paper, buy a bottle of Lucozade, or whatever it is you're going to buy, and that's where they make most of their profit. And look, the other thing about fuel is it's a high volume product. So yes, while the margin on 1 litre is very low, people don't buy 1 litre. They buy 20 litres, they buy 60 litres, and so, it's not, I'm not, playing the poor mouth here at all, but it is important to say that there isn't that massive margin that people have a huge discretion as to what they're charging. And the other thing about it is, as you were able to do, you can drive around stations, and it's the only business where the price you pay is up in big illuminated letters outside the store, and if you don't like that price, you can keep on going down the road until you find somewhere that you do like. So that, I mean, competition in this industry is exceptionally tight, and that's one of the drivers of it.
Yeah, so I don't want to draw you on where you think prices might go, but we are seeing predictions that inflation will top out at around 8.5%. I think that's quite optimistic. I don't know much about things, but the direction of traffic seems very different than it is now. And one of the drivers of that is the likes of petrol, diesel, and what have you. I mean, do you allow yourself to think where petrol and diesel prices might go this year without government intervention? Like, could we be looking at $2.50 a litre?
Look, anything could happen. Equally, it could come down quickly. If OPEC were to increase production tomorrow, that would have a massive impact on reducing. I would, I don't have insight, and even if I had, I wouldn't be able to discuss it anyway. It's just not there. What I will say, though, is you're right about that inflationary pressure, because everything that is on the supermarket shelves in Lifford this afternoon was brought there on a truck that's powered by diesel. So fuel prices have a disproportionate impact on inflation. And therefore, it's really important that government starts looking at how they can manage the price of fuel going forward.
All right, okay. I rounded up to 20 cents. The difference I've spotted is because I took notes, maybe 16, 17, 18 type cent. But I suppose on an issue as important as this, the specifics really matter. So just to make that clear, Kevin, listen, thanks for your time again this morning. I appreciate you making yourself available to us. I really do. Thank you.
No bother.
All right, take care of yourself. Kevin McPartland there, CEO of Fuels for Ireland. Perhaps no satisfactory answers in there. I know, speaking to people, because I'm just out and about like everyone is, with the same dilemmas, the same problems, the same decisions that happen to be made about life and how we live it. And there is a sense that, are we having the hand taken? The price of coal. Do you know there's an irony here? And this is completely anecdotal. The price of coal has gone absolutely through the roof. You all know that out there, any of you that use coal. But I'm not sure if I'm right in saying, but there seems to be more turf being cut this year than I have seen in previous years. When you're driving past bogs and you glance and the way you do. Ironically, is the price of coal increasing the cutting of the product that they were trying to stop us using at all? Have you noticed that? Is there anything to that? 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000, or call 074 91 25,000. Right, I'll talk up to the break before the news here. There was an €80 difference for 1,000 litres for tractor diesel between two different filling stations, so do shop around. It's important, yep. I was in Dunfanaghy over the weekend, and while it may be great to see it buzzing, where is the order? Cars and camper vans parked on footpaths. It was very off-putting. Well, look, the bottom line is it's not just that area. There are a number of areas around our beautiful county that it can be a bit of a free-for-all in terms of parking. In some areas, maybe some efforts are being made to try and reduce that. In others, not so much. A caller says, are these sanctions really going to stop the war? It is just making the Irish people suffer more than anything else. I don't really think so. I think Vladimir Putin has the resources to grind this out for a very long time, and he has support from other countries that might offer assistance, like China, for example, if he needs it. I personally don't think so. I mean, I would love to see it all end, but giving weapons might be the best way to help. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, the sanctions, I think we are paying the price for that. Hi, Greg, can you ask him why when the barrel of oil was $150, it was only $1.20 a litre? Now it's $1.25 a barrel. It's $2.20 a litre, plus the profits are going through the roof. If it's scarcity, surely profits wouldn't be rising. That's more complex, the price relationship between a barrel of oil and what we're paying and how quick it goes up and down. They don't follow exactly the same track. We've all been frustrated by that. Listen, thank you for your company for a very busy hour. Stay right where you are. We're going to be back with more for you after the news and obituary notices.
Is your water safe to drink? If your water tastes unpleasant or has a foul smell, it may be a sign that something is in your water. Brothers Tech Donegal provide a complete private well water treatment service using the best water treatment equipment to meet your needs. Or maybe you drilled a new well and the water isn't satisfactory. At Brothers Tech, their expert team will also service existing problematic systems. If you're concerned about the quality of your water, call Brothers Tech on 087 638 7057.
For a great early season lawnmower deal, visit Gartley Sales and Hire, exclusive stockists of Stiga in the Northwest. Mowers, trimmers and hedge trimmers. Full trade-in service available at Gartley Sales and Hire, Gartley, Letterkenny. Call 91262276.
Since she got her free hearing aids with her PRSI at Specsavers, Roisin is a changed woman. Music has never sounded better, and that makes her dance. And dance. And dance. Her singing, though, well...
Free hearing aids with PRSI at Specsavers. Music to your ears. Find out more online. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're 65 or over, or you have a weak immune system, you can now get your second COVID-19 booster vaccine. Your vaccine is due 4 months after your last vaccine. It will improve your protection from COVID-19. You can book a vaccination centre appointment on hsc.ie or contact a participating GP or pharmacy. For more information on your second booster or to book an appointment, visit hsc.ie or call our team in HSE Live on 1800 700 700 from the HSE for us all.
McDade's Bathroom, Plumbing and Tiles, serving the Northwest for over 40 years. Explore our showroom with more than 40 displays. Choose from an array of shower doors, shower trays, baths and bathroom accessories. Speak with an expert about tile selection and wall panelling. We also stock an array of plumbing, heating and stove spare parts, as well as a great selection of kitchen mixers and radiators at our trade counter. Our stove department is also available for you to choose a style that suits your needs and complements your home. McDade's Bathroom, Plumbing, Tiles, Buncrana. We're here for you.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. More than 131,000 students have begun their Leaving Cert, Applied Leaving Cert and Junior Cert exams this morning. The numbers registered to sit exams this year has increased by 6% compared to the last time a full set of examinations was run in 2019, just before the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been confirmed that more than 200 people have signed up as plaintiffs in a High Court case being taken by the Defective Blocks Ireland Group. 6 of those are lead plaintiffs who will take the main cases represented by Coleman Legal. Next week, Coleman Legal will be in Buncrana hosting appointments with affected homeowners who wish to join the case. Managing partner Dave Coleman spoke to Greg Hughes on today's 9 till noon show. He says people taking part in the case can still participate in whatever redress scheme is announced later this month.
The only thing we'll be claiming, and we encourage people to partake in any grant situation that's finally agreed, the only thing we'll be looking for on their behalf is their difference between the shoes they stood in before a deleterious block was laid on their house, or they bought one with one, and what grant is available. And I think that it's common now, common knowledge that whatever the grant situation is, it's not going to fully compensate people for what they've lost as a result of this.
The British government has been accused of diplomatic vandalism by a Fianna Fáil MEP. Boris Johnson's cabinet is set to propose new legislation that would allow future ministers override the Northern Ireland Protocol. However, Barry Andrews believes that after Boris Johnson's narrow victory in a leadership confidence vote earlier this week, the legislation may not get the green light.
These are the positions that have been taken. I think the UK may have played their hand very poorly here, because it's clear that Tory MPs that voted against Boris Johnson are talking now about a vote strike, and the first area in which they're going to be uncooperative with the whips is on this bill. So it doesn't look likely that it's going to get through.
Meanwhile, Taoiseach Micheál Martin has been addressing the European Parliament on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of Ireland's announcement that it would join the then EEC. He told the European Parliament this morning that Ireland favours UK's admission to the EU. He also said in Strasbourg that he believes all sides should go back to the negotiating table when it comes to the protocol, and they should do the sensible and pragmatic thing. Levies on taxes on fuel should be eliminated or substantially reduced on a temporary basis, according to a South Donegal today. It's after the Society of the Irish Motor Industry issued advice to motorists on how to reduce spending on petrol, avoiding unnecessary trips and removing heavy items from the car to lighten the load are among the tips. Well, Deputy Mark McSharry says the government should be doing more to cut taxes.
But what we're talking is window dressing in terms of what really needs to be done, in terms of a tangible effort by government. We seem to be able to find money everywhere when it comes to impressing our international contemporaries. Let's focus on seeing if we can provide resources to look after our own people on this occasion.
The government plans to give people free vouchers to use remote working hubs, a number of which have been developed in Donegal. Last month, Donegal County Council announced a scheme to provide free hub access to people holidaying in the county that need to connect with their work for a time. Minister Heather Humphreys will unveil the plan later today as part of increased measures to allow people work in their communities rather than commuting to offices in bigger towns and cities. There will also be further investment in remote working hubs across the country to support more hybrid working. Independent TD Dennis Naughton is a former Communications Minister. He believes this is a very important initiative.
I think anything that can see the maximum use of these new connected hubs around the country, I think is very positive. And I think there's an opportunity there for employers, particularly employers based in maybe urban centres where there's pressure on office accommodation, to look and see and facilitate staff moving to some of these remote working hubs.
Weather forecast: breezy with showers or longer spells of rain today with some isolated thunderstorms. Top temperatures 15 to 17 degrees Celsius. Moderate to fresh and gusty westerly winds, strong at times along coasts. It'll become mostly dry and clear for a time tonight with some isolated showers. Lowest temperatures 8 to 10 degrees Celsius in a moderate west or southwest breeze, becoming light southerly for a time. Tomorrow, rain and drizzle will spread from the south, becoming widespread. It'll turn mostly dry with sunny spells by evening time. Top temperatures 16 to 18 degrees Celsius in a moderate to fresh south or southwest breeze. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news headlines again at 11 o'clock. Until then, from the news team, good morning.
Obituary notices for Wednesday morning, June 8th. The death has taken place of Neil Joseph Kearney, Carol Moore, Glenn Tucker, Karen Dunna. Removal from the Eternal Light Chapel of Rest, Mountain Top, Letterkenny, today at 12 noon, going to his home. Funeral from his home on Friday morning at 10:15 for Requiem Mass in the Church of the Sacred Heart, Carndonna, at 11 a.m, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. The death has occurred of Eileen McKelvey, Fair Hill, Dunlow. Her remains will repose at McGlynn's funeral home tomorrow from 4 p.m, with rosary at 7 p.m. Funeral Mass on Friday morning at 11 a.m, with interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The death has taken place of John Cullen, Upper Carrigart. His remains are reposing at the home of his sister Rose and brother-in-law Charles John O'Reilly, Clunmore, Creasla. Funeral Mass in St John the Baptist Church, Carrigart, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Burial afterwards in the adjoining graveyard. Mass can be viewed live on Meva Parish Facebook page. Family only please on the morning of the funeral. Family flowers only, donations if desired to Hillcrest Nursing Home, Letterkenny, care of any family member, or James Harkin, Funeral Director, Creasla. The death has taken place of Jared Harley, Ralph Donnell, Letterkenny. Funeral from there tomorrow morning, going to St Columba's, Kilmacrennan, for Mass at 11 a.m, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Family time on the morning of the funeral. The funeral Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Family flowers only, donations if desired to the Oncology Ward, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member. The death has taken place of John McGinley, 2 Letterkenny Road, Lifford, reposing at his home. Funeral leaving his home tomorrow morning at 10:20 a.m. for a Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Murlough at 11 a.m. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, Donegal branch, care of Quigley Funeral Directors. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has taken place of Kathleen Deeney, St Bridget's Church, Kerrykeele. Removal from the Eternal Light Chapel of Rest, Mountain Top, Letterkenny, this evening at 7 p.m, going to Our Lady of Lourdes Church, Kerrykeele, for Rosary and to repose overnight. The church will remain open until 9 p.m. for those who wish to pay their respects. Requiem Mass tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Burial afterwards in Glenvar Cemetery. Funeral Mass can be viewed on the Milford and Kerrykeele Parish Facebook page. House private, please. The death has taken place of Paddy McDermott, Ballinaboe, Glenealy. Remains reposing at his home. Paddy's funeral mass will take place tomorrow at 12 noon in St Mary's Church, Buchan, Culdaff, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. Funeral mass can be viewed live on culdaffparish.com. Family flowers only, please. Donations if desired to Ard Even, Karen Donagh, care of any family member. The death has occurred of Eamon Campbell, Ballinacor, Crossroads, Killygordon, formerly of Lochagull, and Mahara, County Derry. Remains reposing at his late residence. Funeral leaving from there tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon at 12 noon. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. The Requiem Mass will be streamed live on the St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon Facebook page. The death has taken place of Frances McClure, Gort Kelly, Kerrykeele. Her remains are reposing at her home. Wake private, family, friends and neighbours welcome. Funeral service today at 12 noon in Fanet Presbyterian Church, Kerrykeele. Cremation to follow in Lakelands Crematorium, Cavan. Family flowers only. Donations if desired to the Alzheimer's Society, care of any family member or Patrick Sweeney Funeral Directors. Family time before the funeral today. Funeral service can be viewed on Patrick Sweeney Funeral Directors Facebook page. The death has taken place of Annie Grant, formerly of Crook Glass, Quigley's Point, and late of Tovnakill, Maville. Her remains are reposing at her late nephew, the late Dan Coyle's residence, Maharalan, Quigley's Point. Removal from there tomorrow morning at 10:15 for Requiem Mass at 11 a.m. in St Columba's Church, Strung, with burial afterwards in the adjacent cemetery. Family time from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
And you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. Okay, the people that are suffering from all these sanctions, says this listener, imposed by super rich people on Russia, is ourselves. Costs spiralling out of control and people struggling big time. Sanctions doing Putin no harm, as he's not going to stop till he gets what he wants out of Ukraine, so we can't keep suffering either. And, you know, there is a change in some people's stance on this. Of course, you would know for the French and the Italians are keen for a solution to be found that doesn't embarrass Putin, that might force him into other action, which really effectively probably means some concession of Russian advances to Russia. Ukraine already saying, and they're losing, 100 young men, primarily, and women per day in this war, 400 or 500 others injured and maimed. The toll is huge. And maybe someone has the answer to this, and I'm not trying to be controversial, but I'm genuinely... we're playing Ukraine tonight. Ireland's playing Ukraine tonight. And I'm just curious as to what the situation is as to the Ukrainian footballers. Are they exempt from having to be involved in the defensive? Because obviously there's a lot of their school friends and peers that are out there literally in the trenches. I mean, are they... exempt from from fighting in this war? What is the situation? If they go, can they travel into Ukraine and then out of Ukraine? Like, do they have a special pass because they play international sport? I know Usyk, their world champion at the start of it, he was in full military gear in one of the cities. It could have been Kyiv alongside the former heavyweight champion. And I thought, right, he's given up his boxing career to fight with his fellow countrymen, and he's out of I think he's out of Ukraine. He's training anyway. Him and Anthony Joshua are going to be fighting soon. So what is the rules? Does sport exempt these people from having to fight with their fellow men? What is the situation there? Or, I mean, are they obviously very proud, but they can't go back in and visit family because they wouldn't be allowed back out again because there is a ban on people leaving Ukraine. It's a curious one. I wonder what the situation is. 086 60 25,000 if you've got an insight into that. As I say, I'm not trying to root out a controversy. It's something I'm genuinely curious about. Greg, I went to buy the rally programme yesterday. It was €12. The last time the rally was on in 2019. It's €20 this year. Oh, sorry, it was €12 previously, now it's €20. They believe it's a rip-off. I didn't buy it. I hope the rally committee are happy with this €8 hike. It's the local people that buy them. The young boys that do the diffing won't be buying the rally programme. Shame on you, Donegal Rally Committee. Well, obviously, in the interest of fairness, we got on to the rally committee to get a response to them. They say they are keeping costs for those doing it down, and they found people watching agreed it was a free sport and had no issue in paying this amount. Okay, so that's their response there. This caller went for a walk in Buncrana yesterday and was very surprised at the state of the public toilets. I can't begin to explain, but unclean and disgusting they were. It was coming up to lunchtime, so not the end of the day stuff. I just feel the tidy towns do such a fantastic job of keeping the town, but the toilets really let the place down. Who's responsible for cleaning the public toilets? Is it the council? Ultimately, that's who is responsible to clean it. But when areas are busy, lots of people use the toilets, and there's obviously, is there not some sort of a deficit in individual responsibility here? Or maybe these toilets aren't fit to take all that is put upon them. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it's early in the year, in the summer, and already we're getting some concerns about our public amenities. Right. I'll get to more of your comments and so much more besides on this Wednesday's edition of the 9 till noon show. But what we'll do now is take a break so you can play the bingo. Here are the numbers.
It's time for Ncbi Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday the 8th of June. You're playing on the blue sheet. The reference number is S13. It's game number 23. The numbers are 59, 18, 14, 67, 78, 63, 43, 83, 32, and finally 4. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Ncbi Bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Joe Gallagher Entertainments present Rock and Roll Legends Show Waddy Waddy at Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny, Thursday 9th of June. Tickets on sale now from hotel reception, ticketmaster.ie and Joe Gallagher Entertainments. Show Waddy Waddy live at Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny, Thursday 9th of June.
We love summer at Dunnes Stores with fresh picnic ideas, any 2 for €4. Think tasty salads like fruity couscous 200 gram, paired with our Cajun chicken breast slices 140 gram and our range of Irish ham slices. Mix and match any 2 for €4. Plus, with our 10 off 50 grocery voucher, you save even more. Which means every trip to Dunnes Stores means better value. Dunnes Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next grocery shop of €50 or more.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Recycle your broken electrical appliances, bulbs and batteries for free at your local recycling centre in Carrendonagh, Letterkenny, Lahey, Stranauler, Dunlow and Milford. And don't forget the small things like headphones, chargers, hairdryers. Really anything with a plug or a battery. Please ensure that batteries, electronic and electrical items are always recycled and not placed in your general waste bin or illegally dumped. For more information, visit weireland.ie, brysonrecycling.org or donegalcoco.ie. Donegal County Council, serving the people of Donegal.
Sabrina Robb here from Donegal Hearing Clinic. If you're struggling to hear everyday conversations or find it difficult to understand people in a crowded room, you may have hearing loss. Problems like these are common and we're used to helping people resolve them. We offer hearing assessments and will discuss your options. You can call us on 074 91 88 470 or visit donegalhearingclinic.ie. Life sounds brilliant with Donegal Hearing Clinic, Letterkenny and Buncrana.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why. The Lotto jackpot is an estimated €3 million. Play responsibly in store, in app, or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the programme. Now, we are joined on it by Pam Bergen, Executive Director of Gambling Awareness Trust, and we're talking about a new support service to assist people dealing with harmful gambling. It's now going to be available at the Finn Valley Family Resource Centre and the Forge Family Resource Centre. Pam, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
Good to have you with us. Okay, so why is this being established, and is there a particular reason that these locations were chosen? Give us a bit of the background to this announcement.
Well, the service that was launched last week is a National Problem Gambling Support Service. It's a collaboration with the National Forum of Family Resource Centres, and it will see 20 family resource centres all across the country provide a confidential, affordable counselling service for those affected by harmful gambling.
Yeah, and I think harmful gambling is one of the most troublesome, they're all troublesome, of course, addictions in this country, particularly so in that there's a lot of it, and a lot of it goes under the radar. And as I said earlier on in the programme, Pam, as soon as we start talking about this, I think it's particularly partners and family members go, well, thankfully you're talking about this because it is a big problem.
Well, that's it. I mean, the Minute report, which was published last year, estimated there to be 55,000 problem gamblers in Ireland. And it echoed international research on how for every person identified with a gambling disorder, at least 6 people are directly affected. So these people are, like you said, the partners, parents, siblings, children and friends. And like the addiction itself, they're mostly unseen and they're under-supported.
And it's across generations too. Young people, we saw stats recently about the amount of young people starting gambling and it becoming a problem for them. And it's right through all age categories.
That's it, yeah. I mean, the stats would tell us that it doesn't... look, it's mostly, in the recorded stats and what we get back from the services that we provide funding to, young men, are the major cohort, really. But it really spans right across the ages. We're also finding that there is an increase in women gambling. So we're really hoping now, because of our family resource centres located in so many communities across the country, both rural and urban, that people will reach out and look for support. It's there, it's available, it's going to be affordable. And maybe if it's, if you're worried about your partner or your child, somebody that you care about, and you just want to talk to somebody about how you approach it, how you open that conversation, you can get in touch with your family resource centre and talk to the therapist there.
Yeah, and I think maybe historically did we have this view that maybe a gambling problem was a fella in the bookies betting on horses and gambling his wages. Now, obviously, it can be, you can bet on throw-ins on football games. It could be the lotto. It could be scratch cards. It could be gaming machines. It could be bingo. There's online or offline. There are so many, presumably, so many different forms of harmful gambling.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's the landscape in gambling has changed so much over the years. Particularly in the last, say, 5 to 10 years, where, the online platforms have really gained traction. During COVID with the lockdowns, people who maybe used to use their local betting shop, they transferred their accounts to online. So that saw a huge rise in people gambling online. And as you know, then, like the online platforms don't close. You can gamble 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, it's very possible that the people that need these services the most are the least resourced because of a gambling problem may mean they have little or no money. Why is there a charge for this service, and what is the charge?
Well, it will vary from family resource centre to family resource centre, but what I can tell you is they mostly operate on they'd have a fees policy.
Can you tell me what that is, please, Pam?
Yeah, so basically it means that people are charged based on their ability to pay. But really what's important for people to know is that nobody will be turned away from any of these services based on an inability to pay.
So what are the charges likely to be? It's not a secret, I presume, Pam.
It will depend. You know, if somebody is working and, you know, has an income and has an ability to pay, maybe €20 would be the fee to see the counsellor. But, you know, generally...
Per session, is that?
Yes, but generally, if that's not possible for a person, they might just ask for a donation.
Mm-hmm. How's the Gambling Awareness Trust funded, Pam? Is it all from sort of users?
We're funded by the online and retail betting sector in Ireland.
Right, so you're funded by... You're funded by effectively bookies, and then you charge people to use the service.
Well, look, it's easy to be cynical about this.
Well, it's not. I'm not. Sorry, Pam. I hope I didn't sound cynical. I was just asking a question. It's just a strange relationship that Gambling Awareness Trust is funded by betting companies, and yet you still have to charge the victims of these companies to access the services. It's not cynicism. Sorry, it's just trying to work out the relationship.
Well, we are funded through a social responsibility fund that comes through the Irish Bookmakers Association. So it's a completely voluntary fund for the gambling operators to contribute to.
And do you exhaust that fund every year, Pam?
Sorry, Greg?
Do you exhaust that fund every year?
Well, the first year, like we're only 3 years really in operation, and the first year we opened a call for expressions of interest to see what organisations were available out there to provide services. So, you know, we very carefully selected organisations that we felt, you know, had a track record and were in a position to provide professional services. Then, of course, we had to sustain those services when we saw after the first year that they were doing well and they were, you know, meeting the needs out there.
Yeah.
So we were waiting on the Maynooth report to kind of identify the gaps to show us where we need to target our funding. So that's what we do. Every year, you know, we look to see where we can meet the gaps. And this was one of the reasons that we collaborated with the National Forum of Family Resource Centres, because we know that there is a scarcity of services in the community.
Yeah, and presumably those that fund this, they've no influence in this. This is about if people have a gambling problem, stopping gambling.
Oh, look, it's very important that message gets out. I mean, we're an independent charity. The gambling industry have absolutely no influence over our work. They provide this fund, and we use this fund to, as I said, you know, identify where the gaps are and to make sure that people out there who need help get help.
All right. How do you engage with the services at the Finn Valley Resource Centre or the Forge Family Resource Centre? How do people get in contact or book a slot, or what's the story?
Well, if you log on to our website, gamblingcare.ie, all of the services in the family resource centres are listed by county. And you will be able to log into whatever county you're in, and you'll see the details of the Family Resource Centre, and all of the contact details will be there. So it's just a matter of making a phone call to that service and arranging an appointment with the therapist.
And at what point do you have to discuss your ability to pay, and who is that conversation had with?
That conversation, that's going to happen between the Family Resource Centre and the person seeking help. You know, that's kind of really outside of our remit. Each Family Resource Centre has their own operating system. You know,
would you worry that might discourage people? Obviously, you know yourself, rural community, everyone know what's going on, that it's tough enough maybe to come forward to seek help with an issue like this, but then to have to sort of have a conversation about not being able to afford it. Would you have any concerns that might discourage people from engaging with it?
I would hope not. I mean, the family resource centres offer that kind of discretion and anonymity.
Okay.
You could be going to a family resource centre for anything, do you know?
Yeah.
And look, if somebody feels that they know the staff and, you know, they're worried about, you know, confidentiality, like maybe you could look at a family resource centre close by in the next county.
Yeah, I get you.
You know, they're all open like that. It's not going to be, you know, you're not in our target area, or, you know, you're not in our catchment area. That you'd have to go to the service in your area.
Okay, Pam,
They're
give
all
us
open.
the website again, just so people can get more information.
Gamblingcare.ie.
Gamblingcare.ie. Okay, Pam, thanks for your time this morning. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, take care. Pam Bergen there, who's Executive Director of the Gambling Awareness Trust.
And now, a modern masterpiece. The new Italian stack from McDonald's. 2 100% Irish beef burgers with mozzarella, crispy onions, lettuce, a rich tomato sauce, and a cheese sauce, all in a tomato and herb-style bun. And next in the collection, the crispy chicken Italiano with tomato, mozzarella, red onion, lettuce, and a basil pesto-style sauce. Bellissimo.
Holiday from home with the McDonald's summer menu. Available until the 26th of July. From 11 a.m, subject to availability.
Hi guys, David James here, and we're asking you to push back the kitchen table, dust off your dancing shoes, and join us for our Jive for June campaign, all in aid of the Donegal Hospice. Tune in to the Jive Time show from 2:30 p.m. for your daily Jive. Video your Jive and send it to the Donegal Hospice at gmail.com, and they will post it on their socials, and we will also be posting your Jives on our social media channels too. To register and donate, log on to donegalhospice.ie or contact Isabel on 912565 or 087 238 9607 for a sponsorship form.
Join Derek Ryan in the Abbey Hotel Donegal this Friday 10th of June for a night of dancing with special guest Johnny Brady and his band. Pay at the door. That's Derek Ryan in the Abbey Hotel Donegal this Friday 10th of June.
Okay, open wide there. Perfect. Let's have a look at these teeth.
A range of treatment benefits are available to employed, self-employed and retired people who have the required number of PRSI contributions. Some benefits are free, like eye tests and dental checkups, while for others you receive a contribution towards the treatment, such as for hearing aids or wigs. And now, if you are 25 to 28 years old, the number of contributions you need has been reduced. Find out more at gov.ie/treatment benefit. The Treatment Benefit Scheme. It's there for your benefit. A Government of Ireland initiative brought to you by the Department of Social Protection.
Mum, we're starving. Can we have crisps?
Like clockwork, just as they're in from school. When did this become an everyday thing?
Please.
Sure, it's only a little treat. No, you're sticking to the new plan. Guys, remember what we agreed. No junk on weekdays. You can have cheese and crackers, yoghurt or toast.
At 3 p.m. on Tuesday, Joanne started with healthier snacks. Let's go easy on the treats. Start with smaller ones less often to keep your family healthy. Find more ways to start at makeastart.ie. Brought to you by Safe Food, the HSE and Healthy Ireland.
The Saturday Stretch Week 6 is here. Every Saturday throughout June, visit Oakfield Park Rafo from 12 noon until late. This week, there's high-heeled Converse, live in the stretch tent. With later running trains, food specials in Buffer's Restaurant, craft beers and wines, and live music from different acts each week, it's the perfect family day out. Normal gate fees apply, no booking required. Season Pass and Gold Pass holders enter free. That's the Saturday Stretch at Oakfield Park.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the programme. Right, we're going to be playing a track from Hudson Taylor very shortly. But why not speak to the person behind it, or one of those people behind it? Harry from Hudson Taylor. Good morning, Harry. Thanks so much for sparing the time to chat to us today.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you keeping? What's it feel like? Your album recently released, I presume a lot of work into it. What's the emotions when it's finally out there for your fans to listen to?
This is our third album, and I'm personally, and I think I can speak for my brother on this one as well. We're really proud of this album. It just came out of nowhere, really, in a sense, because it was all finished only last year in October, which is quite a short while ago in terms of releasing schedules. Usually, for the past 3 albums, you'd write and record it over the space of maybe 2 or 3 years, just because of our hectic touring schedule that we had. Obviously, this one came in the midst of the pandemic, so we had a little bit of time to actually just get it done, and it was written and recorded within 4 months, and then now it's out less than a year after it was finished. So
Is this the future?
it's great. Maybe, yeah, maybe.
All right,
Certainly
tell us a bit
nicer way to make music.
about the album. Obviously, loyal fans won't be disappointed, but what did you try and achieve with this album musically?
So when we kind of got approached by our record label to say that they wanted to make this new album with us, we just wanted to be a bit more strict about how we wanted to do it. So we said we want to work with this person, we'll have it done at this time. And the person we work with is a guy called Luke Potashnik, who's a fantastic friend of ours, a producer and friend of ours, and an engineer called Dom Monk, who engineered the album called by the band Big Thief, which we really liked the sound of. And so, yeah, there was that's the sort of technical side of it. And then I guess the songwriting thing, we weren't doing this thing of trying to chase, a single, we have to chase and it was no, let's just make something that we were really happy about. And as a result of it, we got some songs that we're really, really proud of. And just back to basics in some ways. Six songs out of the 12 were recorded entirely live. And that surprisingly is the first time we've ever done that, even though we're pretty confident in how we sound live, and yeah, just even just the opening track on it entirely live. Also just the way they were written as well. Me and Alfie wrote most of the songs ourselves. Even though we weren't together, we wrote them over Zoom. We wrote them over the first time we played them together was in the studio, which was gas. Whereas all the other albums, it's you get the chance to play them live, road test them a little bit. I just want to say, by the way, I don't know if you can hear the background noise here, but I'm staying in an Airbnb and there's a nursery school or a kindergarten right there. So
that's 2 stars. That's just 2 stars right off the bat. No, thankfully with modern microphones, they seem to be able to filter out so much back noise we can't hear a thing. Just talking about the attitude to this album, where did you get that, not that piece with it, or the confidence, if you know what I mean, that you seem to be able to sort of take the pressure off and do it your way, as you say, not chase that single there? Where is that? Is that because it's your 3rd album? Is it because maybe a bit of re-evaluation or confidence in what you can do? Well, where does that brain space come from?
Maybe. The last one, I don't know if you know the story, probably not, but essentially the 2nd album, which tends to be a tough one for people for, understandably, because you're trying to follow up something that you had worked on for many, many years. Our 2nd album actually became a #1 in Ireland, and we didn't get to tour it because it came out in February 2020. And it's we've kind of built, it's 2 albums back to back with 2 different record labels, and they both were right, we need to get you a #1 at home in Ireland. And it was you had to really kind of put in a lot of effort to make that happen, and so this one, I don't know, maybe that was part of it. It was it's not we need to get a #1. It's we already have that little accolade, which is a lovely thing. It's amazing. It's such a cool thing to say. Forevermore on my Wikipedia page, on the band's Wikipedia page, it's a #1 album in Ireland. That's class. But it's just I don't know, we want to just make some art that we're really happy about, and it's a conversation between us as brothers. It's a conversation about mental health, the state of the world. It's just sort of thoughts and feelings about all that stuff. And it's just really, honestly, really enjoyed making it. So
people would know your background of the band is you started off busking in Dublin, and then it skyrocketed from there. Now you're back touring again, which is great. You're getting to go out and play this album, and you're going to be up here locally in the Northwest, in Sandino's in Derry, on the 11th of June. I presume you just love getting out in front of your audience. That's...
Yeah, so I think the Sandino's date's been rescheduled. I'm not too sure exactly when it is, but that'll be updated soon.
No bother, and we'll let the listeners know. Tell us about Buncrana. Go ahead.
We're playing in Buncrana on the 3rd of July, though. And if it's not too much of a stretch, I guess we're playing in Belfast this Friday as well. So, yeah, there'd be the touring schedule at the moment. It's not as busy as we would like, to be honest. We kind of cancelled shows after rescheduling them twice during the pandemic. A lot of people just held on to their shows and kept rescheduling them, which is a smarter move, to be fair. But at the time, we didn't know what. We were just had people being annoyed, and
well, that could work.
like,
that could work one of two ways. I'm hearing quite a bit of people, particularly if they bought tickets and the tickets were valid for rescheduled shows, that a lot of those people, for different reasons, aren't turning up. So I think particularly with comedians, they're sort of seeing the halls not quite as busy. Cancelling, reissuing tickets, and then people are able to go probably is the right way to do it.
The only problem for us is that because of the cancelling, is that the venues then have an onus to give all of the spaces to people who rescheduled. So you're all like on a waiting list for getting into venues as an artist. And there's also so much on right now. It's like impossible to. This is like, I'm sure you as a radio station probably already are advertising so many different events on all the time, and it's a lot for people, and I respect that massively. And we've been happy with the numbers we're getting out of shows, and it's just lovely to be back doing what we love to do, doing what we're good at doing, doing our favourite thing, playing to live audiences.
Yeah, but you've also enjoyed quite a bit of airplay in Irish radio. Perhaps you could always have. You could always have more, but particularly myself more recently has enjoyed a lot of airplay in Irish radio. Have you a view on that conversation? It's like a perpetual conversation now about the level of support from sort of Irish radio stations playlisting, Irish music. Is it something you've a view on? I mean, as I say, you don't do too bad, but so many others, brilliant musicians, as you know yourself, find it hard to get onto these playlists.
I really think it's a massively important thing for Irish radio stations to be playing Irish music. That's just, every time that a radio station launches a new fully Irish thing, I think that's the best thing ever. It's just so needed, because look, all of these international artists, they're amazing, but they take up so much of the space on most of the playlists, and it's lovely to support we have such a high quality, such a high level of quality music coming out of Ireland, and not just it's every type, hip hop, pop, folk, rock, everything, literally everything, and it's amazing. We obviously have a heritage of it, but we also have loads of really good new music, and it deserves to be heard.
Yeah, and I think you're right in with this individual events, but I mean sometimes that's almost like a pat on the head to the industry. I think if it were far more integrated, whereby you'd be in a situation you go, well, you don't need to do a specific, Irish weekend or Irish day, because Irish music is played, and music coming out of Ireland, because Irish music, the sound of it now is international, because there's all different, people with different backgrounds creating music in Ireland. So listen, there's a wealth of stuff there. People would be mad not to dip into it. Just one other thing, I love music and listen to music, but I'm not a huge music fan. But what I do notice, there's an awful lot of very similar sounding music. Back in maybe my heyday, a lot of, guitar driven music, music with a band. It just doesn't seem to be there anymore. Is it not there, or is it not getting the airplay? Does it feed into that previous conversation we were having there, Harry?
Oh yeah, it's not maybe getting a radio play, but it's certainly exploding on different streaming services. Yeah. To be honest, I found so many new bands, and I continue to find new bands all the time through algorithmically generated playlists.
So we have to do our own research. That's the solution here.
It is, and maybe I don't know what it is really, but there is good music out there. That's the thing, and even myself, everything on the radio can be sometimes a bit just homogenized and too much. There's too much auto tune, or there's too much, boop, bop, beep, beep, boop, 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 little synthy noises, and not enough guitar, which I love. I also love it, absolutely love. I love a good pop banger. Don't get me wrong, but it's a bit of mix would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Listen, Harry, I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of your break. Where are you anyway? I don't need an air code. What county are you in?
I'm currently, in this moment, I'm in Dublin. And
lovely.
My sister had a baby whose house I'd stay in, and so I can't stay there. So I'm in an Airbnb.
You might be godfather yet. That sounds like such a sacrifice. You deserve it. All right, listen, come here, enjoy it. Thanks very much. We look forward to seeing you up in Buncrana, and when you reschedule that Derry date, we're going to play one of your tracks now. Great to chat to you, Harry.
All the best.
All right,
See you
good
now.
man, good man. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Okay, that's Harry from Hudson Taylor, and here they are for your entertainment. That is Hudson Taylor there, and Searching for Answers. It's from their new album, and they'll be in Buncrana at the start of July if you want to hear them perform live. And much of, as you heard from Harry there, much of their album was recorded live. Greg, your song at 10:30, could it be dedicated to all the students who are doing their exams today? That comes in from Paul, of course, Paul, and lots of people around the building here as well have young ones that have just gone through exams or are going into them, so we understand it's a stressful time, I think, even back maybe more, because young ones can take things in their stride. Sometimes it's more stressful for the parents and guardians. Morning, Greg. Can you wish the students at Mulroy College all the best today with the start of the exams from all the Parents Association? That comes in from Tony, the chair of that group. No problem, Tony. Can you say happy birthday to Gerald Bates in Convoy from your daughter Laura and grandson Aaron? Can you please play a request for an amazing man called Roy Mooney from Burt, who celebrated his birthday today? He is loved beyond words. Thanks from his daughter Adele. What a lovely request for you, Roy. And Madge Callahan in Grove Hall, Ramelton. Happy birthday, Madge. It's from your ever-loving husband, Mickey. Right, we're back with our next guest in just 2 minutes.
Save on dog food this June at Ireland's largest pet retailer, Maxi Zoo. Get Pedigree 12 kilo dog food for just $24.99. That's up to 22% off. Find your local Maxi Zoo store at maxizoo.ie. Maxi Zoo, there for you and your pet always.
Joe Gallagher Entertainments present Rock and Roll Legends Show Waddy Waddy at Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny, Thursday 9th of June. Tickets on sale now from hotel reception, ticketmaster.ie and Joe Gallagher Entertainments. Show Waddy Waddy live at Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny, Thursday 9th of June.
It's time to hit the switch on your energy supply. Make the switch to SSE Airtricity right now, and not only will you be joining Ireland's largest green energy provider, you'll also save 33% on electricity and gas. Yes, 33%. Go to sscairtricity.com today and get your 33% discount exclusively online. SSE Airtricity. This is Generation Green. EAB €2,168.23. Offer online only from the 10th of the 1st, 22. Rates valid from the 1st of the 5th, 22. Subject to change. 1 year standard unit rate for new home gas and electricity customers and direct debit and e-bill. For details of EAB, T's and C's, rates, exit fee, standing charge and green energy claims, see sscairtricity.com.
Northwest Regional College has launched its exciting range of part-time courses starting this September, and enrolments are now open. Whether it's a new skill or a new career direction, there's something on offer for everyone. To find out more, come along to our part-time course information evening on Wednesday the 8th of June, 4 till 8 p.m, across our Derry, Londonderry, Limavady and Strabane campuses. Refresh your future with a part-time course at Northwest Regional College.
Tickets are now on sale for Century Complex VIP Meal Deal, which includes a 2-course meal and backstage, admission to selected movies in Century Cinema's VIP screenings, a combo with popcorn, soft drink and a free refill, all for $33.95 per person. For further information and to get your tickets, visit centurycinemas.ie.
Okay, welcome back. Onto the programme now. We say hello, Jared. How are you, Jared?
Hello, how's it going, Greg?
I'm going good. Now, you're responding to a text earlier on. A lady, I think it was in Buncrana at the weekend, thought the toilets were in a bit of a state. Have you a view on this?
Yes, well, I'm living in Buncrana 46 years, Greg, and I'm part of a volunteer organisation in Buncrana. We do a lot of work, and I clean that particular area around that toilet. I clean Ladies' Bay in the shore front, right over the Castle Bridge. And I wouldn't even put my dog into that toilet, Greg.
Wow.
So it's that bad. It really is bad. Now, there's a woman there comes and opens them toilets and cleans them toilets. Now, I'm not sure in saying this, but I'm not going to mention no names, but I'm not sure whether she's actually even an employee of Donegal County Council. She never wears the uniform.
Well, we'll not get into the personalities of it. But it's the council's responsibility to clean these toilets. Rather, we'll not talk about the individuals. You're saying they're not meeting that.
The reason why I'm going down this line, Greg, is to let the people know that Donegal County Council has absolutely no interest in them toilets and maintaining them. I sent you in photographs of a hand dryer, of the sink and all that, the silicone with blue mould in it. The hand dryer is rusted. It's actually rusted. I would stick my nose on the odd time, and there's no toilet roll half the time.
Yeah.
It's just really is an absolute disgrace.
In a busy area, Jared, is it possible, when you get a big rush of people as soon as the weather's decent and lots of people are going in and out, in and out, in and out, is it possible to keep toilets like that clean?
It is, Greg.
Okay.
It is. I was in Ness Woods yesterday in Derry. Ness Woods, lovely woods. They had lovely toilets, spotless toilets.
Okay.
So they did, spotless toilets. They had a man up there from Derry City Council cleaning them. Modern toilets, Greg. Modern toilets. He went in with a bucket of detergent and washed around and flushed it all out, and it was spotless.
I had a conversation at the weekend with someone talking about the work the likes of you do out cleaning places up. Often when everyone else is, not around, early in the morning, late at night, whatever it might be. And I think you do amazing stuff. Do you feel a bit let down that you do what you do voluntarily and then local authorities perhaps don't keep up their end of the bargain, so to speak?
Yeah, well, when it comes to things like that, Greg, we have now. I have to congratulate the Environment Section, Pierce McGrory and Brian Doyle, and I want to name them because they really do go beyond to help Buncrana tidy towns. Now, they do the shore front, but I'm let down by our local councillors here, Greg. They're the people that are elected to get at the council to have these services up to scratch. I'm paying a local property tax to have a toilet whenever I want to go down to the shore and my wee child gets caught short or there's an elderly person and they have to go to the toilet. They wouldn't go in there, Greg. We have a lovely big Swans Park open.
Yeah. Also,
is there a toilet in it? No, there's no toilet
Also,
in it.
too, right, I think that our attitude to toilets is something like that they're a convenience. And the one thing I've learned doing this program is that toilets are essential for an awful lot of people, that they need a toilet due a medical condition or whatever it might be. These aren't a luxury. These are an essential space that should be well maintained so people can go in without feeling they're going to walk out with something. You know, so it's not just a luxury to have a toilet. It's a demand. We should have proper, clean toilets.
Yeah, that toilet is not fit for purpose now, Greg. If the health board was to go in and swab that toilet, I would hate to see what they'd find. It's not fit for purpose, like. And you'll talk to a councillor and they'll tell you, oh, we're regenerating this whole shorefront now. I went that talk in the Gateway last week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm talking to a lovely lady down there, and she says this will not be happening for another 2 or 3 years by the time they go through procurement and all these different procedures and planning permission and actually getting the funding. The funding's not actually secure yet for doing up the shorefront. This is only funding for consultants and all
but
this.
it is significant, and I do take your
It
point.
is,
But
it takes years, Craig.
Aye, but the wheels are turning. But I understand what you're saying. We can't use future developments as an excuse to not fix immediate problems.
And I know you look a councillor now coming on, or somebody from the council coming on and saying that this is how we're doing up this whole shorefront and this is all going to be done. It needs to be done next week, Greg. This toilet's been like this for years. It floods at times, so it does.
Right.
The water backs up in it and the floor was covered in water, and then you've got an electric hand blower in there and you're standing on a wet floor.
Yeah, that does not
It's
sound
shocking. It should be locked up, Greg. The woman's 100% right.
Right.
It's an eyesore in the shorefront, but there's an eyesore.
All right, Jared. Strong words. Thanks for your time. All right,
Thank you,
take
Greg.
care. Keep doing
Bye-bye.
what you're doing, Jared. Thanks very much indeed. Do you agree? 086 60 25,000.
It's the Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring biggest ever sale. 10 million euros worth of stock in store and ready to take home. All tiles, all wood flooring, all bathware. Everything slashed in price. Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring. Ireland's biggest range, best prices, and in store to take home today. Sale now on.
The Kerrykiel Vintage Rally is back this Saturday, the 11th of June. Enjoy a great display of stationary engines, cars and tractors. There's also trade stalls, crafts and demonstrations, live music and children's amusements. That's the Kerrykiel Vintage Rally at the church grounds this Saturday from 12 noon. Proceeds in aid of church funds and local charities.
Your specialty is quality tiles, bathroom suites and wooden floors. Who is the best range of tiles in Donegal?
Crawford Tiles.
The best wood flooring?
Crawford Tiles.
The best bathroom suites?
Crawford Tiles.
5-day bathroom refits?
Crawford Tiles.
And who's been tampering with my questions?
That'll be me.
Crawford Tiles, Castlefin. That'll be them. 07491 43942.
Graduated with an honours degree? Let the College of Agriculture, Food and Rural Enterprise take your career to the next level. Study full-time or part-time for a master's degree in Business for Agri-Food and Rural Enterprise. Awarded by Queen's University Belfast. Join our virtual postgraduate information evening on Thursday the 16th of June at 7 p.m. on Discover Caffrey Facebook. For more information, visit cafre.se.uk. That's cafre.se.uk.
Beat the cost of Brexit with no customs charges. Do you need a UK address for your limited company or personal use? Space Hub in Derry can provide you with your own mailbox. Have your post and parcels delivered to Space Hub and collect at your convenience. There's brand new 20-foot shipping containers now in stock, ideal for all your storage needs at our Springtown and Coolmore depots. Find us on Facebook at spacehubderry.com or call 04871 878077 for more details.
Are you worried about an expense or bill that you can't afford? The Department of Social Protection is here to help. The Additional Needs Payment is now available to support you with additional expenses, such as utility bills, fuel costs, or repairs to your property, or even a broken washing machine. It's available to anyone who needs it and qualifies, whether you're currently on a social welfare payment or working on a low income. This support is provided by the Community Welfare Service of the Department of Social Protection. To find out more, visit gov.ie/ANP, a Government of Ireland initiative.
A caller says simply the County Council is responsible for the toilets in the shorefront Buncrana. They are disgusting. Was it any different when there was the local town council, I wonder, or is this a historic problem? Coming up after 11, lots coming up, as you can imagine, but we're going to be speaking to a guidance counsellor, talking about, Brian Mooney, regular guest in the show, talking about some advice and tips to ease exam stress. I'm sure, as I said earlier on, it's a stressful time for parents and guardians as it can be for young ones, because they're quite calm sometimes. So if you need any advice, any questions as it relates to what best to do or whatever, I'll let you generate some questions as well. Get them into us now, 08660 25,000. So we're going to be talking about advice and tips to ease exam stress. But as I say, I want to answer questions that you might have. Right, I'll tell you, if you don't mind, we've ran over a little bit. I'm going to take one final break before the news at 11 o'clock, and that means we're right up to date, and I won't have to interrupt Brian for a break. So stay with us. We'll be back with the news headlines at 11 after these messages.
New summer footwear at Brian McCormick Sports and Leisure. New Balance, Asics, Brooks and Hoka. Brooks Adrenaline 22 in new colours just arrived. Hoka Clifton 8, new summer colours. Or try Bondi 7 for some extra cushioning. Bounce your way through the summer with the best brands and best fit for your feet. Look the part, play the part. In store or online. Click and collect on bmcsports.ie.
Sheridan Security now introducing zero-wire smart alarm systems. Zero wire, zero mess, and a real peace of mind. With a simple press of a button, your alarm can be set or unset, or download the free app and control it from your phone. Call us today on 074 912 6025 and get your alarm from €299. Stay local, stay safe, and protect what you value most with Sheridan Security Systems.
For all your training needs, Northwest Forestry Services Training Department Ballybuffet offer a wide range of courses from training bodies such as NPTC City and Guilds, QQI, LADRA and ABA International. Courses include all land-based services such as chainsaw, tree climbing and rescue, pesticides, working in heights and ATV training. Other courses offered include first aid responder, manual handling and building safety, to name but a few. For a full list of training courses and availability, contact Northwest Forestry Services Ballybuffet on 074 9132033.
Would you like to further your education without the need to attend on campus? Atlantic Technological University Sligo are now making education accessible through the Higher Education for All initiative. Study a full-time degree and attend live online classes in an inclusive learning environment. If you need to stay at home due to caring commitments, a disability or financial circumstances, then Higher Education for All at ATU Sligo can help you take the next step. Visit atu.ie/higher education for all.
Okay, it's 11 o'clock, time for a news update. Good morning once again, Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. It's been confirmed that more than 200 people have signed up as plaintiffs in a High Court case being taken by the Defective Blocks Ireland Group. 6 of those are lead plaintiffs who'll take the main cases, represented by Coleman Legal. Next week, Coleman Legal will be in Buncrana hosting appointments with affected homeowners who may wish to join the case. Managing partner Dave Coleman spoke to Greg on today's 9 till noon show. He says people taking part in the case can still participate in whatever redress scheme is announced later this month. You can hear Dave Coleman on our website, highlandradio.com. Also contact details as to how to arrange appointments while they're taking those meetings next week in Buncrana. The Taoiseach says unilateral action by the UK to amend the Northern Ireland Protocol would be deeply damaging. Boris Johnson is to propose new legislation that would give ministers powers to change it by regulation. If passed, it could overturn many parts of the agreement, including allowing goods to enter Northern Ireland from Britain without checks. Speaking in the European Parliament, Micheál Martin said these proposed changes to the protocol would be a historic low point in relations. Levies and taxes on fuel should be eliminated or substantially reduced on a temporary basis, according to a South Donegal today. It's after the Society of the Irish Motor Industry issued advice to motorists on how to reduce spending on petrol. Avoiding unnecessary trips and removing heavy items from the car to lighten the load are among the tips, but Mark McSharry says the government should be taking more action on reducing taxes. The number of students sitting the Leaving Cert, Applied Leaving Cert and Junior Cert exams has increased by 6% compared to 2019, the last time a full set of exams was run. More than 131,000 began their exams across the country this morning. Leaving Cert candidates with COVID-19 or symptoms of COVID-19 will have access to a deferred sitting of the exam later in the summer. A man in his 40s has died after a crash in County Derry. It happened on the Ockram Road in Maharafelt shortly after 8:30 last evening. It involved a tractor and a motorbike. The man who was on the motorbike was taken to hospital but died of his injuries later. Police are appealing for witnesses to come forward. And parents in some parts of the country are having to wait until 2024 before they can secure a childcare place for their babies. A survey of creches across the country has found that some in Dublin, Wexford, Meath and Sligo don't have spaces available for 2 years, with only childcare facilities in 7 out of 26 counties saying they could offer a place this year. One provider in Mayo has 180 names on its waiting list. Another in Leitrim has 155. And we're back with headlines again at 12 noon.
Thank you very much, Donal. Right, delighted to welcome on to the programme Guidance Counsellor and Education Columnist with the Irish Times, Brian Mooney. Brian, listen, thank you so much for holding on for us there. I really appreciate it. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Right, it's the culmination, I suppose, of a lot of study, a lot of memory and trying to learn stuff. What's your experience? Tell us about our young people and those at an old age group starting their exams today. It's always going to feel like one of those big life events for them, isn't it?
It is. It's been huge. I mean, 25% of those who started the Leaving Cert this morning didn't take the Junior Cert because they didn't sit transition year. So for them, it's the first time they've ever sat a formal exam. For the Junior Cert students, for them, it's a big deal. They're all in class now. They're all in exam centres now. Hopefully they're all still there. They're doing English paper 1 in the Leaving Cert case and English in the Junior Cert case. So, once they get past this, they should settle down, from today on. They'll come home probably all full of excitement, particularly the Junior Cert ones. But, it's not a time for post-mortems. It's a time for, okay, this is a 3-week marathon for the Leaving Certs. Junior Certs, they would probably be finished by the end of next week, but the Leaving Certs, they're going right to the end of June. And it's all about pacing themselves. It's all, from a parent's perspective, it's all about being that listening voice. No post-mortems. There's no need to go back over papers. I mean, I've given advice over the last few days as to how to manage the paper, how to manage the exam. But once that's done, there's no point. All you can influence is the next paper up. And given that it's over 3.5 weeks for a lot of the students, pacing is everything. Nutrition, diet, good rest, studying, but not into the middle of the night. Just do your sessions, in other words, steady pace over the next 3 hours.
Yeah, because to do your best, and I would say for most students, the hard work has been done. You have to make sure now that your body is fit to access all the information you had, as you talked about there, eating properly, getting out for a walk, sleeping, stepping away from the books.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before each exam, students can obviously prepare. But once we get past, this afternoon, the Leaving Cert, it's home economics. And, there will be very small numbers. Tomorrow morning it's engineering, again, small numbers. English paper 2 then, tomorrow afternoon. So, effectively, from the Leaving Cert point of view, it becomes quite paced out. So it's a question of, what's up next? Do the study, get the notes in shape, make sure that you're prepared, know the structure of your exam, have a plan for their timing, etc. And then just go and do it and, stay healthy. And yes, do creative, fun things over the next couple of weeks. You don't want to run yourself into the ground, but be careful. You don't want to end up in a hospital ward, because obviously if you're not in a position to turn up for any paper, that's a disaster. Now, Minister Joe McHugh, when he was Minister for Education, did introduce the scheme to enable parents or students where there was a bereavement in a family to take 3 days out, which is wonderful. And those exams will take place in July if somebody was unfortunate enough to be in that situation. Obviously, if COVID becomes a factor, I think there's an 8-day gap. But, other than that, just stay safe. Don't do anything stupid.
And stress too. Stress is normal, but there's different types of stress and anxieties. That can be labelled as such, which you might feel on a regular basis and the triggers for it. But it's perfectly normal to be stressed and up to high dough leading into exams.
If you're not, there's something wrong. Like, you know what I mean? If you're going into your leaving cert or your junior cert and you're not feeling that adrenaline rush, if you're not feeling that sense of anxiety, it's like any of us, you know what I mean? I'm sure you in the morning coming on the show have that sense of anticipation every time just before you start, and then you get into it. You know, it gives you energy.
And if you didn't have that, you'd probably stop doing it, because that's sort of part of the
exactly. Okay. So what you're saying is, yes, you know, use that productively to drive yourself. But if it starts getting overwhelming for you, I use a simple exercise with students often when they come into me, when they have that level of anxiety. I just say, put your 2 feet in the ground, you know, sit up straight, you know, close your eyes, deep breath in through the nose, fill the lungs, then slowly let it out. Focus on the breathing, slow it down as much as possible, and keep that going for 3 or 4 minutes. Yes, if the thoughts are still pouring into your head, just let them pass through, come back and focus on the breathing. And 99 times out of 100, when you ask somebody after 4 or 5 minutes of that, they're totally calmed down. In other words, you realize that you have a steering wheel. This is not a car hurtling out of control, which you can't control. You have a steering wheel, you have a brake. And I often find that, you know, a simple breathing exercise like that can be the steering wheel or brake that enables you to take control of that and to manage it for your own benefit.
Yeah. Is the more choices on the papers advantageous to all, or does it require extra planning, or what impact does that have on students?
It depends on how you use the paper. For instance, you know, people who leave the exam early because they're finished, it's a disaster. I often say to students, and parents obviously can advise students about this, I often say, when you get the paper, read the whole paper immediately, and make sure you're reading what's on the page and not what your hope is coming up. Sometimes people see a word and they say, oh, that's my question, away they go, but they don't actually get the question correct. Answer what's asked on the paper. Secondly, go to the back of your answer book and start sketching out in rough work, absolute rough work, you know, the structure of section A, section B, section C, whatever it is, and go through all of the questions. Don't just do the first one, go through them all, because what happens is you then do that for about 10 minutes and then you're looking at it and go, okay, where am I going to start? Go back to the question you're going to start with. And your brain is actively involved in all of the other scanning. It's like meeting somebody whose name you can't remember. 20 minutes later, you're walking down the road, bang, their name comes into your head. You don't want that to happen with some point about an exam once you've left the center. So if you front load it all, then while you're answering the first question you've chosen, all the other information is scanning there like a, kind of an air traffic controller scanner. And, it's popping into your head. You're going back, you're writing down that key point, and your rough work. And when it's finished, and as as any good journalist, when you reread your own material, you suddenly see other points that you'd forgotten, and then you can correct that so long as you've left a bit of space. And once you've left a bit of space, you can fill in that point. At the end of the day, that extra time, therefore, can be useful because you're using every available minute. And at the end of the day, it gives you a better result. This thing about, well, I'm finished now, I can go, it's a disaster because ultimately you're going to miss that. Maybe those 5 or 10 points you might just need at the end of the day to get the course you're looking for.
Yeah, don't leave early. Is there a balance to be struck between trying to make people relax and saying, look, in the longer scale of things, in 10 years' time, you'll not even remember how you did, but at the same time, not sending them in with being apathetic to it, if you know what I mean? You have to find somewhere in between, do you?
Yeah, you do. You have to say, look, do the best you can. Whatever it is a student may want to do, or an aspiration they may have for a career or a particular sector, I can assure you there is a way into virtually everything, no matter where you're starting. For students who don't make the CAO point score, there's a whole further education sector, and Minister Harris is increasing the number of places that within discussions with the universities that are going to be made available from further education. So you can be 200 points short of your course, do a further education course for 1 year at level 5 in that area, and then walk straight in the year after. Obviously, there are opportunities, outside of the CAO. There are opportunities, in Northern Ireland for people in Donegal and in the Northwest. There are opportunities in European universities by virtue of our membership of the EU. There are more Irish students now go to the Netherlands than go to England and Wales combined. So effectively, and there's full opportunities there because we're all fellow members of the EU, and they don't ever ask for points. They've never heard of points. So long as you get your 2 H5s and 4 passes in most courses in European universities, and all taught through English, of course, then obviously you can go straight in. So, there is an opportunity for everybody who has a career aspiration to find a way forward. It's just a question, do your best now, and let's see what your options are.
And how do we talk to our students about it? We don't want to compound any stress, okay? So we want to be there and supportive. Is it just let them speak if they want to speak? Just leave
How
it up
was
to...
today, after the exam this morning, how did it go for you? And listen to what they say and say, okay, what's up next? Okay, any plans for the afternoon? Would you like a sandwich? Daddy, da. Questions, open-ended questions, rather than tell me what you wrote for that answer. You know what I mean?
Rewrite it now.
Yeah, exactly. Rewrite it and show me what you did. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And if they did leave this early, don't say Brian says you shouldn't have left early. Just try and make sure that you're available all of the time. I mean, it should be an exciting time. It's like stepping into the next stage of the life here. And as you say, there's never been more options. We now have, equal status on websites to courses versus, apprenticeships. I think we're starting to get it right, Brian.
We are. And the thing is, at the end of the day, every Leaving Cert student will wake up the day after their last paper and they'll have this weird feeling because since they've been 4 years of age, everything was predetermined. You finished an exam, you're going back in September. Suddenly you wake up and, oh my God, there's nothing. I'm not going back to school. I've finished the Leaving Cert. What comes now? That's the time to actually finalize that CAO choice and say, okay, everything else is out of the way. I have a few days now to get my head sorted. What do I really want to do? You've maybe done all the information stuff in your head, but now's the time to go to the gut and saying, what is going to motivate me to go and engage with a course, an apprenticeship or something next winter when it gets really nasty weather and get out of bed every morning? Where is that in me? What's that driving factor? And when students finish the Leaving Cert, particularly, they will find that maybe they would see life very differently because for the first time in their life, they're outside the education system. There's no roadmap. It's up to you after that.
And do you know what I'd love to see? And I don't know if you'd agree. I'm not going to get involved in it. I haven't for quite some time. I don't recall when I did. Fair play to a student that gets a fantastic result. But let's not make it a news story. And let's the media not stand outside schools saying, what did you get? You know, like it's individual. Some people will have good days, others will have bad. I don't think it's a headline news story that someone got how many of her A's is a maximum of full points. Hopefully the change in how we've done the exam, we move past that because the media does not need to be, amplifying certain situations and making other people potentially feel bad about themselves.
Yeah, maths and English are at the core of what effectively is the second level system around the world. And there are young people for whom maths and English is not the thing. And they will struggle and they will get through the Leaving Cert and the majors, pass it and get, 6 or 7 ordinary level Ds or the equivalent of that now. And effectively, that's a huge achievement for them. Yeah. And they will go on and they may run companies and they may employ all the accountants who got 600 points themselves, you know what I mean? And fair dues to them. And well done. And Brilliant. Now it's time to move on.
Yeah. All right, Brian, listen, it's time for us to move on. Thank you so much for your patience today. Greatly appreciated. Bye-bye. Yeah, indeed. I think we're past the point now where we say things like treating people as, using words like unskilled. I've never done it. I've never done it, never will. I hope everyone stops doing it. Not that I'm not trying to set any rules. Please don't think I'm doing that. But also this thing, it's fantastic if one person gets super results. I don't think it's something that, if you elevate them above other people, everyone's success is individual to them. And I just think it puts pressure on unnecessarily. I think it's something we do that's done. I haven't done it if I have, it's a long time ago. And I think it's just something we need to not do because what's the point in it anymore? There's so many other options and so many different ways of doing things. Okie doke. It is time for a break. We have Kieran O'Donnell coming in talking business news a little later. That and so much more besides. Stay right where you are.
When it comes to your oral care, you should have confidence in the tools you use. Oral-B, the #1 brand recommended by dentists worldwide. The electric toothbrushes remove up to 100% more plaque compared to a manual brush. Switch to an Oral-B electric toothbrush today and get that dentist clean feeling at home. Available in Dunnes Stores and your local pharmacy while stocks last. Oral-B. Brush like a pro.
Inishowen Credit Union has recently launched Cultivate, an agricultural loan at only 6.55%, APR 6.75%. Call any of their 4 offices for more information or to make an appointment. Inishowen Credit Union, Buncrana, Carndona, Moville and Muff, supporting local farmers. Inishowen Credit Union is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Lingering sunsets in Spain, captivating coastlines in Croatia, dinner overlooking Lake Como. It's time to stop dreaming and start doing. Let us guide you to your dream destination. Just show up, suitcase in hand, and we'll take care of everything. Flights, accommodation, excursions, expert local guides, and all that planning. Secure your spot on a guided group tour with 2023 dates now on sale, plus superb special offers. See traveldepartment.com. Irish owned and operated for over 25 years. Travel Department, let's see more.
Beat the cost of Brexit with no customs charges. Do you need a UK address for your limited company or personal use? Spiz Hub in Derry can provide you with your own mailbox. Have your post and parcels delivered to Spiz Hub and collect at your convenience. There's brand new 20-foot shipping containers now in stock, ideal for all your storage needs at our Springtown and Coolmore depots. Find us on Facebook at spizhubderry.com or call 04871 878077 for more details.
Tesco Clubcard has the power to lower prices on snacky favourites like Nestle Cheerios Multigrain 540 gram and Curiously Cinnamon Churros 360 gram, now €2.14, plus Nestle Nesquik 375 gram, now €1.99. And choose from any of the Pringles 165 gram range, now 3 for €5. It can't stop you going back for seconds though. Nothing's that powerful. Lower the cost of your shop with your Tesco Clubcard or app. The power to lower prices. Tesco. Every little helps. Product subject to availability. Excludes express stores.
Come on down to the 30th annual Finn Valley Show on Russell Brothers Farm, Killygordon, on Saturday 18th of June with the usual dog, home industries, poultry, sheep, cattle, horse and pony classes and fast and furious donkey derby with trade stands, show and shine tractor competition, live music from David James and children's entertainment. It's sure to be a family fun day at the Finn Valley Show. This ad is sponsored by Kilpatrick Brothers Contracting for all your agri needs, mowing, raking, baling, GPS sowing, slurry or manure spreading. Call Ray or Davey on 087 212 1760.
Okay, right. You're welcome back to the programme. We're talking Wellness Wednesday. Time to bring a bit of glamour to the show by way of personal stylist Emma Murray. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Greg.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. And you're building up to your road show. It's on Saturday, June 25th in the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny. An event features Prosecco, a shopping reception, luxurious room decor, DJ and saxophone player, goodie bags, hair demo, makeover reveal, fashion show. I can't keep going on.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to be a packed night.
There is a lot that is going to be happening. This event was actually organised back in February, just before COVID had hit. So just before the world had shut down, we had all of this organised, and then obviously we couldn't go through with it. So it's great to be able to be back doing events now, and I think everybody is ready just for a fantastic night out, which hopefully is what it's going to be. So.
How did you get involved in this line of work, Emma?
So I suppose ever since I was a baby, I've literally been interested in fashion since that, and I wouldn't have gone down the traditional route in terms of college, in terms of studying fashion or anything like that. I studied English and Spanish in Ncbi Galway, and then in my first year of college, in that summer, I started in River Island. So started in retail, and it literally just had sort of spiraled from there. I had a lot of different positions sort of within retail. Then moved on to a personal shopper in Debenhams, and
so how does that work? Personal shopping, what's that?
Yeah, so whenever we were in Debenhams, people would have made an appointment, and it literally could be that you're looking for something for any kind of an event. And I think it's one of those things, though, people kind of think that maybe it's only for celebrities or it's only for the rich and famous, but it's not like that at all. You know, I have people that would come to me even just maybe looking for an outfit for a night out, or it could be just a christening, or just maybe that they're feeling stuck.
So rather than dragging around a disinterested partner.
Exactly. Well, yes, that's very true.
Right, who's constantly looking at their watch.
And putting him through hell, yes, absolutely.
Or trying to do a video call with that mate that you trust their opinion on,
yes,
but they couldn't come with you that day. You're a person that says, no, this would suit you.
Yes, exactly. So I work virtually, and then I work in person as well, because I would have a lot of clients that would be down the country, and I would have had clients.
Yeah, but you've honed a way of doing it that
is
is effective, I presume.
Exactly. Well, I would hope so anyway.
Yeah, in terms of the remoteness. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So then from personal shopping, then what did you do next?
So with that then, I then went on to set up my social media marketing business. So I have two completely separate businesses, the personal shopping and then the social media training side of it as well. So I'm the social media tutor with something called Ncbi, and then I also have my own private one-to-one clients as well. So there's a great variety.
Do you see yourself as an influencer?
I would have tried to move away anyway from the influencer.
Is that because it kind of became a bit toxic? Not for you, but that space.
Yeah, for me anyway, it was more so that I wanted to establish myself with my businesses.
Right, okay.
Now, in saying that, obviously, I started off with a very small little blog one night in my bedroom, and that's where all the opportunities came for me, was from my blog. So, a lot of what I have achieved now wouldn't have come if it hadn't been for my blog. But the influencer industry, is huge. It really, really is. There's a lot of people that are doing fantastic in that industry. There's a lot of people making a lot of money in that industry as well. So it really is.
Well,
huge.
mate, is it a lot of people? I think that might be the problem, in that it is. On the wider scale of things, maybe it's not that many. Maybe you need to bounce off another platform before you get into that position. And I just think a lot of people might aspire to be that, and it's difficult. You obviously did it organically to some extent with your blog.
I did,
but it's not easy to do that, is it?
No, it's not. It's really, really not. I suppose I started off maybe 6 or 7 years ago when it wasn't as popular maybe, and I know a lot of people kind of thought, what is this? What's a blog? What is she doing? But thankfully I had a lot of support locally, where a lot of people, I suppose, supported the page and shared it and everything like that. But I think it's really, really important, if you are looking to step into that industry, that you find something that sets you apart from other people, because it is quite saturated. And I suppose if you find that one little thing that sets you apart from everybody else, that's what's going to keep people on your account and on your platforms, and it will help grow your following, obviously, as well.
And how long has it been since you felt, right, this is a business now, I have a business here, and reorganising your time to be able to focus on different elements of that?
Yeah, well, I suppose actually within the first couple of weeks, I had 7 years ago, I had businesses that had approached me looking to work with me, which to me was just so exciting, because obviously it was such a risk to do what I had done. But I would say probably within the last 3 to 4 years, 3 to 4 years, I put a lot of work into, I suppose, establishing the two businesses, and there was a lot of training and everything involved in that. But I think once you have a passion for something, you don't mind putting in the work and the hours and everything.
And that passion, as you said, was evident right from the very beginning. Exactly. You were just waiting for Instagram to be invented and whatever else it might be.
Exactly. I started off on Facebook. Facebook was actually the main platform, and I wouldn't go near Instagram. I hated it. I did not like it at all. But you just have to roll with the times. And
still too, and now you have to say, well, do we need a space on TikTok or whatever might work for any particular individual? I think what happens is that us parents and grandparents follow people onto social media, and then they migrate to another one, and on it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, TikTok obviously is huge now, and I suppose that would be the newest platform that has come around, and definitely, it's there to be used in the correct way, and I know a lot of people that have got a lot of benefit.
I think you used a very, really important word there, correct.
Yeah.
Because spamming social media is counterintuitive, it's counterproductive.
Exactly. I know it kind of can go from one extreme to the next, maybe where you aren't posting at all, and then you might maybe post and overload. So it's kind of finding that balance. Everybody's going to be different in terms of maybe what they're comfortable with and what their audience reacts to. So it's kind of finding what works for you.
And there is a balance, and that's why people like yourself have the expertise, because there's people don't mind being pushed an ad if they're also getting useful content, or that ad is content in and of itself, isn't it? That's the kind of balances we're talking about, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to be providing as much value, obviously, as possible to people. And I always say, even to clients and everything like that, I suppose on the social media end, that people will buy from you when they know, like, and trust you. And one of the best ways to do that is through your posts on social media.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. How many of these, is this one of your first live events, or have you done many before? Pardon my ignorance, Emma.
No, this is the first big event. So there's no pressure.
I know, and it feels like it's been 2 years in the making now because of the initial
it really
cancellation.
Is. And I know, and there's a lot of people looking forward to it, and a lot of people really, really excited for it. So yeah, it hopefully should be good. We've got a lot of the organising done at this stage now, so it's just a case of everybody turning up on the night and enjoying themselves. And I'm around the county today with a lot of our pop-up shops, doing little videos with them just to help promote them, and in terms of what they're going to be doing on the night and what they'll have to offer and everything. So yeah.
And is it primarily targeted at women, or are we seeing a change in the makeup of the audience of these types of events?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's open to all genders, absolutely. You know, it's not just specifically for women. I'd say I'll probably find out on the night. I'd say I suppose the ratio probably will be higher in terms of women than it will be to men. But yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, everybody is welcome, and it should, yeah.
And what's your approach in terms of how you present clothes? Because I've spoken to different people. Some like the sort of maybe it's even uncomfortable saying it, but you know, a model. I think others would find maybe people with, you know, shapes and sizes that we all are more relatable because they know what an item of clothing might look on them. What's your stance on that?
Well, I'm actually so proud of the model lineup that we do have. So we're working with Catwalk Modelling Agency in Galway. So a lot of the girls are coming from Galway and Dublin. And then we also have our very own Joanna Boyle, who is located here in Donegal as well. So it was really, really important to me that we had a variety of heights, shapes and sizes, you know, because no two people are the same, and it would be a very boring world if we all were the same. So there's literally going to be models ranging from 5'3" to 5'9", 5'10", and size 10 to size 18. You know, so there really is going to be something for everybody. We have our saxophone player that will be playing throughout the fashion showcase, because I didn't want to be talking over the clothes. I kind of just wanted them to be the main focus. And then we'll have a segment then where it's called an Ask the Stylist segment. So we'll say one of the models 5'3", size 8 to 10. And then one of the other models, maybe 5'9", 5'10", size 16, 18, both wearing the same thing. So, you know, you can see that style it's just all about what you make it. You know, I don't believe in putting people into boxes or categories and telling them what they can and can't wear.
No,
you know,
and they don't want to be either. So,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you're listening to people, aren't you?
Absolutely.
You know,
if you're comfortable in something and if you like it, wear it.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
And are there still places available?
Yes, we still have tickets available. We have a few left online, so that would be on eventmaster.ie, and then the Clanry Hotel also have a few tickets available there as well.
And what do you search at Eventmaster, or is it just location, or how does that work?
Eventmaster.ie, and then if you type into the location Letterkenny, I think maybe there's 2 events.
Brilliant, okay, excellent stuff. So do you be excited or nervous going into this now? I mean,
I will breathe
2
when
weeks
it's over.
away. Yeah.
I will breathe when it's over. No, I'm so excited to put faces to names, and I think the fact that everybody else is so excited obviously makes me so excited too, because it would be, I suppose, worse if there was nobody talking about it and nobody looking forward to it. So.
And you've Alison and Clodagh on your team now.
Yes. Oh my God, I couldn't.
So the pressure's off a wee bit, individual pressure, is it?
Yeah, like I couldn't have organised everything without them. It's just there's a monstrosity of work that has to be involved, you know, with running an event this size. But we're nearly there. We're nearly there, which is good.
It sounds like it's going to be great fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, okay. Right, listen, brilliant stuff. Emma, just remind people how they can get more information there, or what's your socials and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so my socials, so it's Emma Murray Stylist, and then the social media marketing is ELM Social Media, and we have the tickets in the Clanry Hotel or eventmaster.ie, and you can type in Letterkenny to the location, and that will come up.
Brilliant.
So,
sounds like it's going to be fantastic. Yes. Thanks, Emma. Lovely to chat to you. Great to have you in. That's Emma Murray, personal stylist, and so much more, of course. And we'll be back with more on this programme after the break.
The moment you got told the good news.
Rob, you made the panel.
When the lads added you into the group. Skipping nights out, missing the crack. Rewatching classics and learning new tricks. Being driven to the biggest game of your life by your mam. And then you finally come on in the 51st minute. It's the minor moments that last a lifetime. The Electric Ireland GAA Minor Championships. This is major.
Your specialty is quality tiles, bathroom suites and wooden floors. Who is the best range of tiles in Donegal?
Crawford Tiles.
The best wood flooring?
Crawford Tiles.
The best bathroom suites?
Crawford Tiles.
5-day bathroom refits?
Crawford Tiles.
And who's been tampering with my questions?
That'll be me.
Crawford Tiles, Castlefin. That'll be them. 07491 43942.
Make this gardening season a lot easier with the great range of garden equipment at great prices in Watson Hire Letterkenny. Lawnmowers, trimmers and hedge cutters, scarifiers, power washers and much more for sale and hire. A full range of fertilisers and weed killers and great deals on paint and decorating accessories. All at Watson Hire, Kiltoy, Letterkenny. For more, see TikTok, Facebook or visit watsonhire.ie.
At Lloyd's Pharmacy, you'll find all skin types under the sun working here, including many a freckle. So we know from experience just how important it is to take care of your skin all year round, but especially during the summer months, which is why we have up to 50% off selected sun creams and a great range to choose from, including Solero, Nivea, Ambre Solaire and more. Available for all the family, online, by phone or pop in. Lloyd's Pharmacy. Say hello to the people that know.
Walk the line once again with the multi-award-winning Johnny Cash and June Carter tribute show Cash Returns. Celebrate the music of the Man in Black at the Millennium Forum Derry on Saturday 18th of June. Limited tickets are available now at the box office. That's Cash Returns live at the Millennium Forum Derry on Saturday the 18th of June.
Business Matters in association with the Faculty of Business at ATU Donegal. The part-time Level 8 Honours degree in Business is delivered through a mix of online and face-to-face lectures. Email execedbusiness@lyit.ie. That's EXECED business@lyit.ie or call 9186206.
Okay, a seamless transition now from the glitz and glamour of Emma Morey to Kieran O'Donnell, presenter of Business Matters.
It's a big come down for you, Greg, on a Wednesday, I know.
No, it's not. Good to have you. And how are you keeping? Did you
Good.
enjoy the good weather while we
It
had
was
it?
great weekend.
Excellent.
You got a bit of sun yourself there?
Well, my suggestion would be to buy new sunblock every year because I think it goes out of date.
Use by date, is it?
Yeah. Well, I didn't check that. It's worth checking it, though. It's all right if it was me, but if I'd used the same stuff on little ones, you know,
Right,
not that I
all
would,
right.
but anyway, it's not fully intentional, but kind of welcome at the same time. It's hard to know. Right, okay, let's get into the nitty-gritties of the business news. And we're talking about a new initiative launched to counter the impact of Brexit. Another one.
Yes, Greg, details of the Brexit Blue Economy Enterprise Development Scheme have just been released. The scheme is aimed at businesses within the blue economy sector directly impacted by Brexit. So it's being described as an excellent opportunity for innovative entrepreneurial businesses to seek funding across three key priority areas, and those areas being capital investment, mentoring and upskilling.
All right, okay. Plenty of banking at AIB. They're doing okay. Perhaps sweeping up those leaving other...
Yeah, the customers have got to go somewhere, Greg. As you say, AIB has recorded the largest number of account openings in a single week as customers of the two departing banks seek a new institution. During the last week of May, around 11,000 customers opened an account with AIB. That's up 122% compared to the same week last year. This brings to 61% the increase in account openings in the year to date. And so far this year, customers have opened around 160,000 accounts with AIB, and that's compared to 99,000 in 2021.
I'd be interested to see how the likes of BOI does if they release their figures in comparison.
Yeah. So I'm sure, look, all the banks are going to get a bounce, so I'm sure they're experiencing a bounce as well.
All right, the council's back looking for people interested in providing accommodation for those in caravans and those that camp and what have you.
Yeah, just an update on an ongoing scheme, Greg. Donegal County Council has opened a second call for the caravan, camping, campervan and motorhome grant scheme targeting voluntary or community-based groups. So this grant scheme will be open until Wednesday, June the 29th, and will focus on supporting new and additional overnight facilities and locations currently underserved in the county.
Yeah, all right. Letterkenny Chamber has a new survey out. What's its aim?
Yeah, the Chamber is conducting a second business sentiment survey of 2022, and that is in an attempt to gain a better understanding of the challenges that local businesses are facing. The Chamber says the survey will help it build a picture of the economic landscape, and they have stressed that all information will be anonymised, treated with the strictest confidence, and will never be shared with a third party.
Yeah, I just get a sense of where we're going, Kieran, in that obviously because of the presence of multinationals in this country, our economy continues to grow. And it seems that will be the case because the likes of pharmaceutical, tech, may well continue to do okay. But I just get a sense that we're going to have within industries a recession inside an economy that's growing. As people nervously hold on to their money or what have you, it's getting, everyone I think is actually thinking about, do I need to make that journey because it's so expensive? And I just wonder if the overlying figure might show that the country's really doing well, but most of us perhaps living in sort of effectively what is a recession, or at least us acting like we are.
Well, I suppose I think you can't but escape what is going on around you, Greg. I mean, the headlines every day, it's very much people having, I suppose, tighten their belt, for want of a different phrase. And I suppose people are just being more mindful now about their money, and they're going to be budgeting more.
Yeah, I mean, when you go and put in petrol or diesel and 50,
you're nearly afraid to look up to see what's it's costing things.
Yeah, I mean, the needle barely moves. It's I mean, even filling a 5-litre tank for a lawnmower or a strimmer.
Yeah.
You're up on 12, 13. You know what I mean? Like, these are all purchases that you have to say, well, hold on, can I, add that to everything else? Can I keep going? But anyway, I don't know. That's just my take on how we see it, how I think it's going to go. But I hope I'm wrong, because obviously I want to be optimistic and would hate if we are in that space. Okay, lastly, in terms of news, pandemic's impact on innovation revealed. What's the story here?
1 in 7 companies halted innovation projects in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and that is according to the latest figures from the Central Statistics Office. Total innovation expenditure by companies was $7.4 billion in 2020, which was an increase of 36% on the 2018 figure of $5.5 billion. So large enterprises of more than 250 employees reported the highest rate of innovation due to the pandemic. So it was sort of up and down in terms of
it's interesting.
While some gained, others suffered,
Right, great reaction to your podcast last week. I think people really enjoyed that, Kieran, both on air and on the socials. So well done with that. Talk to me about what's coming up this week.
Yes, on this week's Business Matters, Greg, I am joined by Donegal ETB's Tara Maguire and Sabrina Robb, who is the owner of Donegal Hearing. Tara Maguire is Donegal ETB's Further Education and Training Services Course Recruitment Officer, and she has this advice for anyone considering signing up for any of the new Donegal ETB courses that are currently on offer.
There's lots of really great opportunities. There's lots of things happening in further education and training. There really is something for everyone, and whether you're learning digital skills for the first time, whether you're unemployed, maybe a student that's sitting the Leaving Cert this June, or perhaps you're returning to the workforce after a period of time, maybe where you've been absent because you've been caring for somebody, for example, or you might just be taking your career in a whole new direction. We have something for everyone, so I'd really encourage people, I suppose, to pick up the phone, come and chat to us, call into one of our training centres. We've 18 of them across the county. Get familiar, I suppose, with our websites and our social media platforms. We have great visibility on Facebook, for example, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. There's so many different ways that you can get in touch with us. And as I said, come and walk into one of the centres. We're always happy to help, and we love engaging and speaking with people in the community. So that would be the main thing I would say to people.
All right, lots in that interview. I presume that's just the tip of the iceberg, Kieran.
Yeah, look, there's so many courses on offer. I think there's about 120 Tara mentioned, and I suppose following on from your conversation with the career guidance interview you had earlier, Greg, I suppose it's just an example. There are so many more offerings and so many paths open to people in terms of what career or job that they want to pursue, and Donegal ETB is very helpful and very accommodating in that regard.
Yeah, there's pretty much a pathway to most anything that you want to do, regardless of what happens over the next 3 weeks.
In fairness to the agencies, Greg, they are responding to the needs, and we are getting away. And I know you were quite passionate about your views on the Leaving Cert and on whole summer views. I think we are getting away from the traditional mindset of Leaving Cert and the way it was viewed as taking a long time. But I do think that look, without going into too much, it was always perceived as a sort of a memory test.
Yeah.
But people have so many other skills that may not be unearthed or may not be tapped into, but once they come out of the environment, they will find their pathway, and there are so many agencies to help, and Donegal ETB is one of those.
Yeah, for sure. And it might not be when you're 18 or 19.
Correct.
You might think you're on your path, and then at 25, 30.
Yeah, and the mature student is
all
perhaps then
thereafter.
is 23 or 24, and so many people have gone down that route as well.
Excellent. I just like the direction we're moving in terms of people's education and how we view. And I think particularly with the shortage in certain areas, people are having to sort of reevaluate what they perceived as being important and not important areas of employment.
And I do think that the pandemic has actually helped fast track how we view things and how we view things for the better now.
Yeah, all right. It's I think it's as much as it might not seem the way. I think it's exciting times for all students over the next wee while. Okay, so right, the second interview's with Sabrina Robb. Tell us about this.
Yeah, Sabrina Robb is a hearing aid audiologist and owner of Donegal Hearing Clinic. She's a graduate of Queen Margaret University in Edinburgh and a member of the Irish Society of Hearing Audiologists. Having worked in hearing healthcare for 12 years, she decided to set up her own practice just 5 months ago. In this clip, Sabrina explains that the outbreak of the pandemic in 2020 impacted on her plans to establish her own business.
I had plans, I suppose. I had started putting things in place, yeah, absolutely. I had been speaking to some of the manufacturers and some of the equipment suppliers and different things like that, and I had things in place, and then it was one of those ones where I suppose you were kind of trying to pick a time, not knowing what was going to happen with COVID and feeling like, right, this will be the right time, but then we went into a second wave, and then this will be the right time, and we went into a third wave. And so I suppose it just got to the point where I just had to make that jump because we didn't know where we were going with COVID. And thankfully, the timing actually worked out quite well, and COVID seemed to settle down just around the time I opened.
Yeah, that's Sabrina Robb. At what point in your education did you decide I want to be an audiologist? It's an interesting line of work.
Yeah, it was. I asked her if she wasn't doing what she was doing now, what would you else was she doing? And she said she wanted to be a vet. So it was either veterinary or audiology. So there you are.
All right. A dog's loss is our gain, our ears gain.
Much.
Right, okay. Full interviews with Tara and Sabrina available now in the podcast, Kieran.
Yeah, available on Spotify.
I kind of normally do this bit, don't I? Should we stick with what? You don't realise you go into patterns until you actually go outside.
until you stop them?
No. So, all right, so if you want to hear the full interviews with Tara Maguire and Sabrina Robb, they're available now on our website, highlandradio.com. Go into the playback section there or the on-demand section. And also you can catch up on Spotify and iTunes. But some people like to listen to scheduled radio. In fact, dare I say, perhaps the majority of people still love to tune in at a given time on their favourite radio station. How do they do so, Kieran?
Yeah, Sunday evening, Greg, after the 6 o'clock news.
All right, and anyone, and probably it is everyone, wants to get in contact with you about the show or any of the items featured on it, how do they do so?
Yeah, just drop me an email, please, Greg, businessmatters@highlandradio.com.
Okie doke, we look forward to chatting to you next Wednesday around about this time, Kieran. Thanks as always for calling in, giving us the news and setting up your podcast for us. It's greatly appreciated.
Good morning, Greg. Thanks.
All right, back with more on the programme as we take this break.
Joe Gallagher Entertainments present rock and roll legends Show Waddy Waddy at Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny, Thursday 9th of June. Tickets on sale now from hotel reception, ticketmaster.ie and Joe Gallagher Entertainments. Show Waddy Waddy live at Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny, Thursday 9th of June.
We're all faced with things going up these days, but you'll still find amazing value every single day at Aldi. And you could save over €70 on your big family shop when compared to one of our nearest competitors. Nearest and dearest indeed. So don't change your lifestyle, change your supermarket. Aldi, every day amazing. Comparisons against products sourced in SuperValue 28th of March 22. Lowest pro rate used and offers excluded. For full details, see aldi.ie.
Is your Skoda a little older? Pre-loved, perhaps? What adventures, I wonder, did it have in the past? Another family, another life, bright city lights, or a quiet country existence seeing Ireland's best sights? We don't really need your car's story. With a Skoda service, you get a complete vehicle health check, genuine Skoda parts, and free roadside assistance for 12 months.
Your local Skoda dealer is DMG Motors, Clar Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 07497 21396 or visit dmgmotors.ie.
For great food in the heart of Letterkenny's Cathedral Quarter, step into Dillon's Hotel. Using only the best local produce, Dillon's serve an extensive menu every day from 12. Perfect for a quick bite, a relaxed lunch or a leisurely dinner. Try the renowned 4-course Sunday lunch with full table service. Or if you work in town, why not pre-order and have your lunch waiting? Great food and service, 7 days a week at Dillon's Hotel Letterkenny, with live music every Friday and Saturday night. Visit dillons-hotel.ie.
It's where you live. It's where you relax. It's where you make memories. Treat your home to a visit to Cooney's Home Interiors. We have everything in store to help recreate your home. Choose from our extensive range of suites, tables, beds, mattresses and home furnishings for every room. Cooney's Home Interiors Letterkenny. Style and perfection at incredible value.
Lots of you messaging in about public conveniences. We have our blue flag beaches and we talk about their importance, and yes, that's fine. And access and parking. And where it seems often we let ourselves down the basic where people go to the bathroom, and we're getting more in on that. Listen, it's June 8th today. We've got time to get this right for the summer season, and let's not leave locals or tourists or visitors leaving an area with a bitter taste in their mouth because we couldn't get one thing right, and that's a clean, usable toilet facility. Any comments on that? 086 60 25,000, 07491 25,000 to give us a call. Right, okay. Joe is on with us now. Joe, listen, great to have you on the show. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Craig.
You have, you're calling really for a complete ban of parking on the main street in Letterkenny.
Yeah, I just find it an inconvenience. I get the Mangans bus up, and it goes up from Mr. Chippy up to where the old court is, and you're literally sitting there 20 minutes with the lights turning on and off because there's people parking outside the post office and waiting on people parking, and it's holding the whole. So I'm an elderly disabled. I have to literally get off the bus there and walk towards Iceland.
Mm.
And I'm usually up at Iceland before the bus can actually get up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just with the with the parking, I don't think there should be any parking at all. There's plenty of car parks behind the post office, and there's plenty of, parks behind Iceland. It's just holding all the traffic up.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. I wonder how many drive down Letterkenny Main Street looking for a parking spot that they'll never get. They drive slow, maybe then try and reverse in, and it holds everything up. I wonder what the actual impact parking on Letterkenny has on the flow of traffic.
Well, it has a major flow on the bus, because there's a lot of, people on disability like myself, and they get up to Iceland, and, you literally sit in the damn lights for like 15 minutes or so before you can actually get through. So the car's parking and waiting to get a parking slot in beside the post office.
Yeah.
Instead of parking behind the post office.
Yeah, or even, the way it would, there's no point fixing one problem and creating another. I mean, could a solution be proper parking, decent parking, accessible parking on the outskirts of Letterkenny Main Street? I don't know where that might go. And regular buses that literally just do circles, maybe two of them constantly, hop on, hop off, hop on, hop off. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how something like that might work. Would the footfall be there for them? I don't know, though.
Yeah, but there's actually like a parking facility at the back of the post office, Craig, where cars can park.
Yeah, some of those can be quite fiddly to get in and out of, though, in and of themselves.
Yeah, but it's just holding up all the buses for myself, like.
Mm. All right, but you think that for your service that you use to be fully effective, cars should be off the main street altogether?
Yeah, ban the cars up the main street and just have the taxi ranks.
Yeah.
Because so that's all.
All right, Joe. Listen, and it's good to hear. We'll see what others think. Thanks, Joe. Good man.
Thanks a lot, Craig. Nice talking to you.
You too, Joe. Have a lovely day. What do you think? 086 60 25,000. Has that been looked at, examined? We've talked in the past about different ways of parking. Maybe parking only on one side of Letterkenny Main Street. Even maybe parking in at an angle so people just drive in. But how would you back out? And it's complicated, or maybe it's fine the way it is. What do you think? 086 60 25,000. I think it all be. I presume the likes of the Letterkenny Chamber in the past has polled businesses to see what they think, because obviously at the moment. The majority of those occupying the main street are businesses. Jared was on to us about the situation as it relates to the public toilets in Buncrana. He painted a picture, really, that I didn't want to think too much about. It wasn't a pleasant one, but callers saying, Jared, you're 100% right. 100% agree, them toilets are an eyesore, Greg, but I do think people are to blame as well. Whoever thinks that someone will come in and clean up the state, some people are leaving these toilets in my opinion, an animal, Greg. That's what you would think. Left it totally disgusting. But for things like that, I'm not talking about these toilets in particular. You have to make sure that there's toilet paper there. You have to make sure that if they need emptying, they're emptied. You have to make sure that people go in regularly to check there isn't blockages. I mean, if one person goes in and blocks a toilet and then other people continue to use it because they've no choice, you can't blame everyone in society. So you need them to be checked on regularly. If there is a blockage or something that needs doing or toilet paper replenished, then that's what you do. That's the upkeep and maintenance. I just think sometimes we don't put facilities in places because we don't fancy the hassle of maintaining them afterwards. Okay, we're talking to Sharon now. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Greg. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great. Right, you and your daughter were out yesterday. Tell us about what you were doing, where you were at and what you experienced.
Yeah, we were over at the play park in Buncrana there, Greg, and she was playing away, and then she said she needed to use the facility, so we popped down, and upon entering, it was just the most unsanitary place I've ever been in. It just was really diabolical state that we found it in. She, rightly so, she refused. She was like, no, I'm not, Mum, I'm not going in there. It's really, really bad. It was filthy. There was no toilet paper. Other ladies then had come on, Greg, as well, and they were saying they just turned and left and went back out again. And it's just, the play park is really, really busy, particularly during the summer period.
Mm-hmm.
And, you expect, clean facilities and, as you say, the simple things like toilet paper and, and just the cleanliness. It really was like a health hazard there yesterday, to be honest, Greg,
Yeah, and I feel for those that didn't have a choice, Sharon. Do you know people that probably had to grin and bear it because they had no choice?
Exactly, and especially with young kids, my daughter's particularly young as well, and she had to hold on. Luckily, I don't live too far away, but she had to hold on, and as you say, there's elderly people there, there's people that use that walkway. It's a really busy place, and it's really substandard at the moment, and it's letting the town down.
And do you think, is it easy to tell from the glance, Sharon, do you think it's that we aren't responsible and we go in and make a mess and not worry about who comes behind us? Or is it they're not being, checked on every now and again? We're not looking for someone to stand at the front door, but someone to go in, 2 or 3 times a day or twice a day and say, right, what needs doing here? That would fix a lot of this stuff we're talking about, wouldn't it?
It definitely would. I do think, Greg, that, there is no really routine checks. I don't really see anybody ever in there, cleaning it. A lot of the time it's locked. I suppose you can understand that, there's teenagers and stuff around too, But as you say, it definitely needs more routine cleaning. For sure.
And it's a shame, Sharon, because people listening might think that we're giving out, but all of the conversation today has been positive, except for the one thing that's letting it down. We heard Jared talking about how he's around cleaning, very proud of the place, loves it, the toilets let them down. Others saying the same thing. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot here by getting the really simple thing wrong. Just all we need is a relatively clean, maintained toilet.
Exactly, and especially now, Swan Park has been updated and it's absolutely beautiful, which brings a lot of tourists to the town. And I mean, those are the only main facilities on that route, and that's, it really was, it's beyond, it was a real health hazard there yesterday. I wouldn't even encounter even using it at all,
Yeah, it'd be nice if someone said, right, you know what, this is our responsibility. We're gonna try harder. Sometimes it's hard to find out who ultimately is responsible. I think Jared mentioned the councillors earlier. They might say, well, we've raised this at the local meeting and we've received this assurance. And, I think the public now, over the last while, we're just tired of that type of response. What we want really is someone to take responsibility and to tell us how they're going to best ensure it doesn't happen again. We're not interested in excuses, are we, Sharon?
No, definitely not, Greg. You know, as you say, coming into summer season now, you know, it should be at least clean, Greg, and at least have proper, you know, have the hand dryers not hardly working. You know, there's only cold running water. There's no toilet roll at all, no toilet paper or anything like that available.
In terms of we won't get into too much detail, but I'm going to press you a little bit on it.
Yeah.
When we say it's an unhealthy sort of unsanitary type environment, are we talking full toilets, stuff on floors? I mean, what like...
Everywhere. The toilets were unfit for purpose. As I say, I'm not going into too much detail, Craig, at lunchtime, but it was really, really disgustingly bad. The floor was just disgusting. The toilets were unusable. It's just doors are all broken. It's just really substandard, you know, and really not acceptable.
Yeah, if I was a local rep, the first thing I would be asking is the council to tell me what is the cleaning regime. How often do they cleaned? You know, are there any inspections? That's the first question I would ask to ascertain. Where that would be the first point, and then you could say, right, what are we not doing here? What could we do more of? All right, listen, we talk about the economy, we talk about the benefit of tourists. We can't bring them in here, or even for us locally with all the taxes we pay, Sharon. We the basics. Going to the toilet, going to the potty, I almost said. Going to the toilet. Going to the toilet's the most basic thing. Anyway, I hope you and your daughter had a lovely day. Other than that, I'm sure you did. All right, best wishes to all. Take care, Sharon. Thanks so much. 08660 25,000. Just some comments to finish up here. And I don't want to be on Buncrana, by the way, because it's beautiful. And we've talked an awful lot positively about the area with the development that's ongoing and all that it has going for it. We're just highlighting our listeners are. I'm not. It's our listeners who have opinions on this. They're just highlighting that this seems to be the one thing we need to be getting right. Everyone's talking about it's amazing. Swan Park fully opened and it's all positive, but the toilets are letting the thing down. Hello, Greg. Toilets at Narrenport New Blue Flag Beach, excellent and accessible to all for relaxing, stress-free day out. All right, good to hear. Why no public toilets in Killybegs? It's a disgrace. With all the cruise ships coming in, you'd think it'd be a priority. I've been there a few times now and they are badly needed. Seriously, no toilets in Killybegs. On the subject of Buncrana, I cannot emphasise enough how bad the public toilets were yesterday, but I feel the public need to take responsibility for it. Yes, but on to that earlier example, I'm not contradicting you, but if one person goes in and blocks that toilet, what happens then? You know, it doesn't take a lot of people for things to turn messy.